42nd Heinz Southern 500 is today's Grand Marshal, Linda Petty.
Richard Howe, gentlemen, start your engine.
The field roars to life as we get set to continue a Labor Day weekend tradition that began back in 1950, the Southern 500. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins, and welcome to Darlington, race number 21 of the Winston Cup season. And the quest for the Cup standings show that Dale Earnhardt has only a 60-point edge on Ricky Rudd as we head into this event. But look at third, fourth, and fifth. They're separated by only 16 points, so there is pressure on Dale Earnhardt if he wants to win a fifth championship. There's also pressure on Davey Allison. He's won the pole. If he wins here today, he'll collect the race purse. He'll collect $114,000 in Unicalp bonus money, and he'll collect a $100,000 bonus from RJR Tobacco. Two other drivers are also eligible for that bonus, and for more on that, here's John Kernan.
Well, Bob, Harry Gant says that he forgot all about the possibility of winning $100,000 with the win here at Darlington today. He forgot about it until the media reminded him of it last week when he got here for qualifying. Now, Ernie Irvin, on the other hand, he's full aware of what that $100,000 will mean to him, and he says Lady Luck may be on his side today. Ernie says Harry used up all of his luck winning the golf tournament on Wednesday, and Davey used up his to win the pole. Guys, it's going to take some luck.
John, it takes a lot of luck to win on this racetrack. They've called it the Lady in Black, too tough to tame, and some names we can't say here on television. Denny, what does it take to win here?
Patience. You just got to simply be patient for at least 400 miles and then try to win the race. Bob Jenkins talked about what kind of money Davey Allison can win. This is the Southern 500. What Davey wants is a trophy to sit on the mantle beside of his father, Bobby's. Ned, you won the Southern 500. How would you like for Dale Jarrett to win this race and put his trophy up on the fireplace beside of yours?
Oh, that would be very special, no question about it. Denny, of course, I won it back in 1965. And another fellow who's in this field today, Larry Pearson. His dad, David Pearson, won it several times. David was inducted into the NMPA Hall of Fame here on Friday night, so I know that they would like that.
Well, the last time that happened, Ralph Earnhardt was inducted in the Hall of Fame. The next day, his son, Dale Earnhardt, won the Southern 500. So Larry Pearson has got a lot of things going for him. There's one other son in the field that's never won the Southern 500. His dad has. More on that, here's Jerry Punch.
You're right, Benny. You know, it was 16 weeks ago that Kyle Petty was significantly injured in that massive 16-car pileup at Talladega. Now, Kyle Petty has undergone rather extensive rehabilitation, very painful rehabilitation at the Miller Orthopedic Clinic in Charlotte and by Andy Clausen at the Central University in Charleston, South Carolina. In and out of the whirlpool, but he is ready to race. He put the helmet on. 10 days ago, he came here to Darlington and ran nearly 280 laps here in the heat. Today, it is that heat that will pose a problem for Kyle Petty. Can he win it? I think he just might. You know, he comes from pretty good stock because his dad, King Richard, has won here 3 times. Bob?
All right, Jerry, here's the Sears Die-Hard starting lineup for today's Southern 500. On the pole with a new event record of 162.506 miles an hour from Hueytown, Alabama, is Davey Allison. Bill Elliott starts second in the Coors Light Ford number 9. Starting in row number 2 on the inside from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Dale Earnhardt in the number 3 GM Goodwrench Chevrolet. Fourth starting position goes to the Budweiser Ford number 11, driven by Jeff Bodine from Chemung, New York. Starting fifth from Taylorsville, North Carolina, Harry Gant in the Skoal Bandit Oldsmobile car number 33. To his right will be Ernie Irvin in the Kodak Film Chevrolet car number 4, Ernie from Modesto, California. Starting in 7th position, inside of row number 4, Alan Kowicki from Greenfield, Wisconsin in the Hooters Ford car number 7. And then the Sitco Ford car number 21, driven by Dale Jarrett from Hickory, North Carolina. Starting in row number 5 is Ken Schrader and Mark Martin. The 6th row goes to Morgan Shepherd and Darrell Waltrip. Row number 7, Rusty Wallace and Dick Trickle. The 8th row consists of Sterling Marlin, and there's the starting position of Kyle Petty returning to action. The 9th row, Derek Cope, and second in points, Ricky Rudd. Row number 10, Larry Pearson, one of those sons that Ned and Benny were talking about, and Jimmy Spencer. The 11th row goes to rookie candidate Bobby Hamilton and Rick Wilson. Row number 12 is Terry Labonte and Rick Mast. The 13th row, there you find Lake Speed, who'll be carrying one of our in-car cameras, and Hut Strickland. And the 14th row is Brett Bodine and Chad Little. 15th row goes to Michael Waltrip and Richard Petty. Row number 16 is Ted Musgrave and Joe Ruttman. Greg Sachs and Jimmy Means will start in row number 17. Randy Bacon Baker, another son in the field, and Dave Marcus will start from row number 18. And the 19th row goes to number 82, Mark Stahl, and number 48, James Hilton. We're riding along with the Citgo in-car camera carried by Dale Jarrett, and we also will have telemetry for you, showing you that Dale right now is at 60 miles an hour at 5,100 RPM. Throttle not nearly where it will be when the green flag comes out, and he is in second gear. And when the brake comes on, we'll also be able to show you that. So telemetry riding this afternoon in the Southern 500 with Dale Jarrett. The track here at Darlington, South Carolina, the track too tough to tame. It's 1.336 miles. The pole speed was 162.5 at a time of 30.261 seconds. We'll go 367 laps. The field is separated by 3.5 seconds. The speed down the pit lanes will be 60 miles an hour here this afternoon, and there are pits on both the front stretch and the back stretch. You can see the tremendous crowd that has gathered here this afternoon to continue this Labor Day tradition that began back in 1950 when Johnny Mance won the Southern 500. They've been doing it every year since. 38 cars are in the field for today's event as we get set for 367 laps of racing. Davey Allison is on the pole position and Bill Elliott is alongside. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Southern 500. We're glad you could join us on this Sunday afternoon for Winston Cup racing, and the green flag is out. No time in showing the field that he is set to win his third 500 as he is in second position, but the battle back in the pack is this group, which involves Morgan Shepherd and Dick Trickle there on the outside in car number 24 as they go wheel to wheel into turn number 3.
Boy, that's something you don't want to do too much of, is go in turn 3 side by side. That time they did it and got away with it.
They have singled out since then. But here's Sterling Marlin trying to move on the inside and Trickle going into turn 1. Early in the race, the inside group should be the preferred line, even though Trickle makes it work up on the outside. Here's Ernie Irvin trying to move around Jeff Bodine.
And that would be for fourth position. Ernie Irvin to the inside. If he gets the position, he moves to fourth. Elliott is third. Earnhardt second. And the leader is Davey Allison as they complete lap number 4. Jarrett, and there you can see his speed up to 160 miles an hour. Now up to over 170 at the end of the backstretch. He applies the brake there on the left, and the speed decreases in terms of the RPMs, but then right back on the throttle. No gear changes here at Darlington.
Watch him play with that throttle off that fourth corner. That's what the drivers always want to do, is get to where you can go through this corner wide open. 180 miles per hour down in turn 1.
And Ernie Irvin continues his march toward the front. He has moved to third position and now sets his sights on Dale Earnhardt, who is second. And Irvin closes right in on the back bumper of Dale Earnhardt at the end of the backstretch.
Earnhardt slips a little high. Irvin sees the spot under there. He's going to try to take it.
Irvin will easily go to second position. Dale Earnhardt third, and now look at Jeff Bodine. Look to the inside of Bill Elliott, who goes inside of Earnhardt, but they'll fall back into single file formation.
Earnhardt said, I lost that one spot. I don't want to lose another one. And he and Elliott almost touch as they come off that second corner. Meanwhile, Bodine wants that spot away from Elliott. Can't make the pass.
Third, fourth, and fifth right here. Earnhardt, Elliott, Bodine.
You know, Bob, if you talk to any of those drivers in the days leading up to this race, they'll everyone say you've got to race this racetrack. You don't race the other cars. But when you get out there, that green flag drops. If it's somebody in front of them, they want to pass.
That's the nature of a race driver. Pass that car in front of you. Now Bodine looks to the inside of Elliott once again. Davey Allison continues to lead. He has led since the first green flag.
There we see Larry Pearson. We talked about the young man whose father, David, was inducted in the Hall of Fame, getting passed by, that's Lake Speed and Michael Waltrip. Lake in the red 66, Michael Waltrip in the yellow 30.
Elliott's still working on Dale Earnhardt, but Earnhardt holds him off, and Jeff Bodine working on Elliott.
And Harry Gant follows behind Jeff Bodine in the school best. There's Darrell Waltrip.
Sitting out there by himself, we understand he might have a tire equalized, a little bit of a vibration, but it wouldn't be unusual to see Darrell Waltrip. See how far it is for a car in front of him, how far behind him. He likes to run out there by himself as much as he can in the first 300 or 400 miles of this race.
Waltrip started 12th. He has moved to 11th position here in the first 8 laps of the Southern 500, being led by Davey Allison. Now the Phillips 66 in-car camera with Lake Speed.
You see that Michael Waltrip has been able to get by Lake Speed and take that spot away.
Lake Speed, a former winner here at Darlington. He won the Trans-South 500, the spring race, back in 1988. Thanks for joining us for the Southern 500 here live on ESPN. Our Speed World coverage is being brought to you by Heinz Southern 500 Barbecue Sauce, 57 sauce and tomato ketchup. Heinz, pour it on. By Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Davey Allison in a Ford leads the Heinz Southern 500 after 10 laps. And we'll be back with more of our live coverage after this.
Right now, every gallon of paint is on sale at Sears. Every interior, every exterior. Save 10 to 33% on Weather Beater, Easy Living, Dutch Boy, Olympic Stain, and more. But hurry, sale ends Labor Day at Sears.
The driver of this car adds something special to his motor oil. So does the driver of this car. They both use STP oil treatment for drivers on a racetrack or drivers on a fast track. STP.
One of the Right Guard Halfway Challenge races today here at the Southern 500. Dial 1-900-737-1100 and just register for the contest and then wait and see who is leading at the halfway point. If you are called back and you know who the leader was at the halfway point, you'll win a new Pontiac Grand Prix SE, and the driver who leads at the halfway point receives $10,000 from Right Guard Gillette. A lot of action on the track here in the early going as now Bill Elliott loses a couple of spots.
Yeah, Jeff Bodine got behind the last lap, then Harry Gant went around, and here goes Alan Kowicki and Mark Martin. So Bill Elliott has dropped from third back to, what, about 7th or 8th.
And the 21 car of Dale Jarrett is looking at that group that you just mentioned from the Citgo in-car camera. If we take a look, coming down the front stretch, now the telemetry once again. He reached about 177 or so that time.
178. He slowed down just a little bit. 2 laps ago or 3 laps ago, it was 180. So already the car is starting to slow down just a little bit. And here comes Schrader, the Kodiak Chevrolet, on the inside of Dale Jarrett and takes that spot away.
That's 9th position. Schrader goes to 9th and Dale Jarrett back to 10th.
So we can see Dale playing with the throttle. As I talked about a moment ago, when they get these cars to run wide open through 3 and 4, that's when they're really hauling the mail.
The 17 car of Darrell Waltrip is obviously having problems. They are passing him at will, and now a pass for the lead as Ernie Irvin asserts himself. Coming out of turn number 2, running side by side with Davey Allison down the backstretch, but Irvin gets the measure and goes to the front.
It looks like Ernie has things going his way. Here comes Davey back on the inside and takes the spot away. And Ernie will drive again, right?
And now Earnhardt has got up there in the picture, too. I'll tell you, that happens so many times. They go into turn 3, they pass somebody going there a little bit high. The other car goes in nice and straight, slows down, and is able to pull right back around it.
Earnhardt looking to the inside of Ernie Irvin there in the second turn, but Ernie will pull away from Dale just a little bit, and we'll take a look at the lead once again. Oh, he has to drop back off the throttle there going into 3.
Yeah, he wasn't far enough alongside that time. Now he's clipped high, and Earnhardt's going to go in.
And he's got it. Earnhardt was second.
Well, that's where Ernie was past Earnhardt, so Earnhardt says, okay, I'm going to give it right back to you.
He worked so hard to get up there and pass Davey Allison and just went in there a little bit too fast. As Ken Schrader makes a move on Bill Elliott. Elliott's car apparently not working too good. A number of cars have already passed him, and here he's getting passed again. Dale Jarrett looks in there as well.
This is 8th, 9th, and 10th. Schrader picks up 8th position. Elliott 9th. Now Dale Jarrett goes inside of Bill Elliott. And Jarrett has 9th place. Here in the first 17 laps of this race.
Yeah, they're not just riding it out. Look out the back of Jarrett's car now, Bill Elliott.
This is coming off the second corner down the back straightaway. If we stay on the shot, we'll see what kind of miles per hour he gets down this straightaway. Remember, it's 178 down the front, 171 down this back straightaway. So turns 1 and 2 much tighter. That's why you can't give as much speed down the back straightaway.
The straightaways here are 1,228 feet. Turn 1 and 2 at 25 degrees of banking, and 3 and 4 at 23 degrees. Now there is Jeff Bodine, Harry Gant, Mark Martin going to the inside of last week's winner, Alan Kulwicki.
And while we watch that battle, Darrell Walsh is going to continue to slide backwards in his Western Auto Chevrolet.
4th, 5th, and 6th right here, being led by Jeff Bodine in the Budweiser Ford. Harry Gant, no stranger to Darlington International Raceway, a 3-time winner, won the Southern 500 back in '84.
Jeff Bodine announced this week he will be driving the car number 15, the Motorcraft Ford next year. That's the 11 Budweiser Ford he's currently driving. Changing rides. Here's the leader, Davey Allison and Dale Earnhardt right on his back bumper. Allison, the black 28, Earnhardt, the black 3. Of course, everybody knows that.
Not necessarily. And Jerry Punch has a comment on Ernie Irvin, who's still running 3rd.
Well, there's a certain amount of guesswork in setting up a Winston Cup car, but this morning, apparently, the Kodak crew guessed correctly. One of the crew members told me that about 2 hours ago, they changed 3 springs in the car, both rear shocks, and totally readjusted the chassis. They hope they rolled the dice properly, and apparently, they did.
Car's right now. Car's working well. Here's Harry Gant trying to pick up another position, and look how close he comes to Jeff Bodine, and Mark Martin goes to the inside of Harry, making it 3 wide down the front stretch.
Well, that move's going to cost Harry Gant at least 2 positions. He thought he was going to pick up a position, but instead he got passed by both Mark Martin and Alan Kulwicki. Boy, it don't take much of a step, does it?
Man, oh man, they are really racing hard this early on in the race. I'm surprised we're only 20 laps into the race, and these guys are battling like it's the last 100 miles. Here comes Kenny Schrader back up in the back of that pack. He's about to catch Harry Gant.
And coming up on the pack is Dale Jarrett in the Citgo Ford. To watch the throttle response there in the corners, just feathering it until he gets about midway through the second corner and then flooring it. Here's Mark Martin flooring it down the backstretch. He passes Jeff Bodine. Watch Alan Kulwicki now and Harry Gant.
Jeff Bodine starting to come back on the inside. Mark Martin realized that. He moved down the hill just a little bit to block that move by Bodine.
Mark Martin is now 4th, Bodine 5th. Again, Dale Jarrett closing in on the back bumper of Ken Schrader and Harry Gant up ahead.
There's Schrader right on the bottom of the racetrack going by Harry Gant with ease. Now Dale Jarrett pulls up on the inside and says bye-bye, Harry.
Yeah, he passed him with ease.
Boy, Harry was there trying to take over, what, 4th there a moment ago? And now he's all the way back to 9th.
It It looked like Ned, when he slipped a little bit ago and got those rear tires hot, that he's having trouble getting the tires to come back and get the grip he wanted before that.
Dale Jarrett's bumper cam as we look back. Of course, not only is it interesting to see the top speed that he achieves at the end of the straightaway, but how much he slows down in the turn. And I think I've seen something in the 120s.
We saw 7,800 RPMs that time. That's the slowest straightaway, so he's probably turning 8,000 down the front straightaway.
Here's the Phillips 66 in-car camera being carried by Lake Speed as he is behind Bobby Hamilton, who now is tied in Winston Cup points with Ted Musgrave
For the Rookie of the Year battle.
Hamilton was the second round fastest qualifier. Had an awfully good qualifying run here on Friday when the temperature was very, very high.
They're running 21st and 22nd. 26 laps have now been completed here at Darlington, and there are your top 5. It's Allison leading Earnhardt, Urban, Martin, and Jeff Bodine. Kowicki, Schrader, Jarrett, Gann, and Elliott in the second 5.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sport Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What does it take to be a mountain man? Let's see. A mountain man must be fearless, sure-footed, willing to answer the call of the wild. But most of all, a mountain man should be thirsty for a smooth bush beer or an easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and see if you have what it takes to be a real mountain man.
It's one of the most technologically advanced, most rigorously tested fluids on Earth, relentlessly measured for maximum protection against the friction, the wear and tear, the heat and stress of today's engines. It is today's Quaker State. In Europe, in Japan, in America, Quaker State quality has passed the most demanding tests automakers can throw at it. At Quaker State, we don't just say we're tough, we're tested tough. The big Q is one tough motor oil.
Bo's back, and there's no stopping them now. Don't miss the return of Bo Jackson as the White Sox host the Royals live Monday night at 8 Eastern, part of an ESPN Labor Day tripleheader.
Around the world, around the year, with over 1 million miles of award-winning auto racing coverage. ESPN Speed World today in Darlington, South Carolina for the Southern 500, being led right now by Davey Allison in the number 28 Avalon Mexico Ford. Second is Dale Earnhardt, and third is Ernie Irvan as we have completed 30 laps.
You talked about at the top of the show, Bob, a lot of money to be picked up by Davey Allison today. Kenny Schrader, the white 25, Alan Kowicki, the winner last Saturday night, in the orange and white 7.
They're running 6th and 7th. Ahead of them, Jeff Bodine. Jimmy Means is a lap car there in the Alka-Seltzer machine. Here comes Bodine. As Dale Jarrett goes to the inside of Ken Schrader. Can't make the pass.
Harry again tries to lift it on the outside of Dale Jarrett. This is right inside the car, right on the back bumper off Kenny Schrader. Here goes Kowicki down in turn 3, trying to take the ball away from Bodine. That's for 5th. He does it.
And now here comes Harry Gant challenging Dale Jarrett. And Gant will pass Dale in turn 4. Second place battle. Irvan takes Dale Earnhardt, and Ernie Irvan goes to second, but watch Earnhardt battle back.
I'll tell you what, Earnhardt, when his car is right, he is the toughest guy in the world.
Coming up behind him is Mark Martin. He has run him down after he got through that package register. There you can see him. He has been steadily gaining on Trent Tucson.
Waltrip continues to slip back.
And Martin just pulls up behind Earnhardt and goes by down front straightaway.
Wow, Earnhardt goes from second to fourth here in the last couple of laps. Now there's Darrell Waltrip as he continues to struggle here in the early going. And we have a spin in turn number 3. Chad Little loops down in turn number 3. Don't believe he hit anything. Brings the car onto the apron of the racetrack, but the yellow flies for the first time today. And Darrell Waltrip needs the pit stop, right, John?
Oh, you can't believe how happy Jeff Hammond and these guys are down here in the pits. Darrell has been riding on an equalized tire. They believe one of the rear tires is equalized. We're about 5-6 laps into the race. Jeff said, just stay out there, Darrell. Hang on to it. When the leaders finally catch you, then you come in and we'll change 4 tires. And would you believe it? Just before this caution came out, Darrell was supposed to pit the next time by. What a break.
And he wasn't too far from going a lap down, was he?
He was very, very close to going a lap down. Another 5 laps out there, and he would have been left.
So the yellow, the spin over in turn 3 by Chad Little is good news for Darrell Waltrip. The pits are closed right now because the pace car has not picked up the field. But in just a few moments as they come by next time here on the main straightaway, the pits will be opened and Waltrip will be able to get that much-needed pit stop. And there is the indication that the pits are now open.
And the speed down pit road today is 60 miles an hour. Speed limit, I should say.
Takes advantage of the yellow flag. Nearly everyone will, as a few cars stay out, but not too many. Allison, Urban, Martin, Earnhardt, Kulwicki, and others.
I think every car that's pitted on the front straightaway will be coming in the pits. Jerry Punch?
Well, guys, it was a break for Darrell Waltrip, but also for Dale Earnhardt. You mentioned just before the caution came out that he had gone from second to fourth because he may have had a tire problem. He radioed that there was possibly a problem with the rear tire. 28 on top, 3 on the bottom. You're looking at Davey Allison and Dale Earnhardt pit stop, Ford on top, Chevrolet on bottom, and they put left side tires on. Let's check in with John first.
You can see the smoke boiling off the brake rotors as the Kodak crew goes to work. They've already changed right sides. Earnhardt goes by. Earlier, completed a 4-tire change and is away.
Schrader comes out, so does Gant, Elliott, Jarrett. Here comes Kyle Petty and Ricky Rudd. Darrell Waltrip remains on pit road. His position is down toward turn number 1. And finally, they get the work done on the Western Auto Chevy, and Waltrip goes back out onto the racetrack. Blake Speed, meanwhile, is pitted on the back stretch, and you can see while the activity ceases here on the main straightaway, it picks up on the back stretch. That's Rick Mast there in the school car, Richard Petty behind Michael Waltrip, and there is the contrast between back stretch and front stretch, as there is virtually no one pitted now here on the main straightaway. Joe Ruttman moves away, and there goes Rick Mast. Richard Petty still getting some service done on his car. Dave Marcus moving away. Now Petty finally goes out of the pits. Under our first caution of the afternoon here at Darlington for a spin over in turn 3 involving Chad Little. Back with more in just a moment.
If you can't wait, you need the News Weekly of Motoring, Auto Week. If you can't wait for driving impressions, get Auto Week. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. If you can't wait for car news, get Auto Week. Auto Week covers it all. The great old cars, the auto shows. Auto Week's columnists are controversial and fast. And if you can't wait for racing news, get the News Weekly of Motoring. Auto Week races to bring you the winningest coverage first. If you can't wait, get Auto Week, the News Weekly of Motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
Back at Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina for the Heinz Southern 500. Tonight, Sunday night baseball here on ESPN. Live at 8 o'clock, it's the Pirates against San Diego Padres. We know that you'll want to be with us at 8 o'clock tonight live here on ESPN for Sunday night baseball. Well, Bill Elliott came in for a second stop, and that has put him at almost the entire back of the field. He has relinquished a lot of track position because of the second stop.
And the second stop was to take a rubber out of the spring. We think that's what it was. Is that it, Jerry?
Actually, Ned, it was the foot of rubber in the right front. The right front is just too soft on the car number 9. The Coors Light Ford, the car is not handling well at all. Bill is complaining about the ill handling situation of the car. They brought it down pit road. Crew Chief Gene Roberts decided to go ahead and insert a rubber in the right front to stiffen that right front spring a little bit and hopefully make the car a little bit easier for him to turn in the corners.
Dropped all the way back to 31st position for this restart, which is just about to happen as Doyle Ford looks him over. He waves the green flag, and we are back to racing on lap number 38 with Dale Earnhardt in command.
Well, that'll give Earnhardt those 5 bonus Winston Cup points. He tried to pass Davey Allison to get those points, but now the pit work of Richard Childers and the crew have put him up front and got those 5 bonus points, which could be very important at the end of the year.
That's Larry Pearson there in car number 41.
Here's the lap down. They've just been left before the car.
Mark Martin and Davey Allison are close behind Earnhardt. Mark Martin challenges Earnhardt. He gets the lead. Allison charges and takes second position from Dale. Now Allison and Earnhardt are wheel to wheel, and Earnhardt gets second position back.
That high groove, they're able to get that momentum off the corner, and the guys on the outside able to maintain down the straightaway. Now we see Earnhardt move over and let Davey go by on the outside.
Well, he led, got him 5 bonus points, and he knows patience is the key here. Jerry Punch?
That's exactly right, Dan. Their strategy is to let them race early. Is if they want to race and run their tires into the ground, let them go. Richard Childers said our strategy is we learned from testing down here. We need to let the track come to us. We're not going to burn up our tires and use up our race car. We want to win a championship, and we just might win it here today. They're going to let them race. Let them go by. He pulled over, and they went right by.
Well, as you guys have told us that have never driven in this race, that winning the Southern 500 can often give you a psychological advantage for the last 8 or so races of the year. And if Earnhardt can win this race and add to his points lead, he has a very good psychological advantage.
For 19 years, I was involved in the Winston Cup point battle, and I felt like when I got to the Southern 500 and was in the top 5, I had a chance to win that thing. But until then, I forgot all about the championship.
It was absolutely the thing that propelled me to the championship in 1965. Coming in here in the real, as we watched Dale Jarrett, his telemetry is to go down to 8,000 RPMs. He got up to that time. But coming in here, Dick Hutcherson and I were in a real tight point battle. I won the race. Hutch had problems, and it just set me up to go and win the championship.
Here's Jeff Bodine picking up a position on Dale Earnhardt. So indeed, he's employing his strategy. He's dropping low now and giving the high groove to Alan Kowicki.
Well, he gave the high groove, yeah. But he also took off in that low groove. Now he moves down to the inside. That's the way he goes.
Everybody's sitting in the grandstand thinking, what's wrong with Dale Earnhardt? But that's just the way they want to run the race right
Yeah,
now.
that's normally not his style.
Bill Elliott has been charging again. He was 31st when they got the green flag for the restart, and he is steadily moving up now through the field and has only moved up 2 positions, 29th.
He steadily moved up to 29th, right?
Well, yeah. First 3 cars running right together on the racetrack. Martin, Allison, and Irvin. 2 of these 3 eligible for the $100,000 bonus. Now, we really haven't explained that bonus, but that's the one that allowed Bill Elliott to walk out of here in 1985 with $1 million. You win 3 of the 4 so-called Big 4 races, and you get $1 million. You win 2, and you get $100,000. Davey Allison, the pole sitter, is back in front.
This car is fast. Not only on qualifying day, but on race day as well.
Here comes Ernie going by Mark. Mark got in the corner and slipped just a little bit. When he did that, Ernie saw the opening and seized it to take second place.
Mark Martin has moved to 3rd in the Winston Cup points. He's only 175 behind Earnhardt, so his chance of winning the championship is not over yet by any means. And there is Ricky Rudd, who, of course, is second in Winston Cup points. He runs 17th at the moment.
exactly where he doesn't want to be. He's in heavy, heavy traffic, cars all around him. There we see Kyle Petty in his first race back in front of Morgan Shepherd, Derek Cope, the Purelator Chevrolet.
Rick Wilson back there in car 8.
Ricky Rudd just doesn't want to be all around this traffic because if something happens in front of him, he's in the wreck. There's no dodging. No dodging the crashes, I should say.
Terry Labonte leading the supercar down Main Straightaway. This is the Igloo in-car camera being carried by Morgan Shepherd, monotrack Ford. He goes to the inside of Petty and takes over that spot. Now here comes Derek Cope.
He's alongside Kyle, and he takes the spot away going out in turn 3.
And Rusty Wallace, a little smoke coming from his car. He was running in front of Dale Jarrett there just a moment ago. Jarrett passed him going into turn 3. Rusty still running, and it looks like at a pretty good rate. Sterling Marlin has moved up a little closer to him. Here's the battle between Alan Kowicki and Jeff Bodine.
This is for 4th spot. Kowicki to the inside and Bodine to the outside.
And we see Dale Earnhardt is backed up to the 6th position as Kowicki takes his spot away. Bodine thought about again coming back on the inside, chose not to. There again. Meanwhile, moved up to 7th. That's Kenny Schrader in 8th, the white car at the tail end.
Those in the Rusty Wallace pit are saying, we don't know what the smoke is all about on Rusty's car. You remember Rusty finished last weekend at Bristol International Raceway in that event, so he's trying to improve on that situation. Up front, it is Davey Allison still leading Ernie Irvin here in the Southern 500. 50 laps have been completed. Here are the top 10 at the moment. We are live on ESPN Speed World.
How to live like a mountain man. A true mountain man lives a solitary life, living for nothing more than an honest day's work and the rugged companionship of his fellow mountain men. It's a full-time job, but it does have its rewards, like smooth bush beer and easy drinking Busch Light. So, head for the mountains. Because once a mountain man has his mountains, what more could he possibly want?
One car manufacturer has more NASCAR victories than anyone. Winning over 350 NASCAR races, over 4 decades of racing. That car manufacturer is Ford. And that kind of winning performance goes beyond the winner's circle.
If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN.
There he goes. He leaps. He makes the catch.
See Tuesday night doubleheaders, Wednesday night excitement, Friday night twin bills, and exclusive Sunday night action. Bo's back, and there's no stopping him now. Don't miss the return of Bo Jackson as the White Sox host the Royals live Monday night at 8 Eastern, part of an ESPN Labor Day tripleheader.
Live at the Southern 500 in Darlington, South Carolina. Ernie Irvin is making a bid for the lead, but backs off. Davey Allison, number 28, leads the race at the moment. 53 laps completed. Irvin running second.
Ernie's got a very, very good car. It's amazing that they changed all those things this morning, and the car is able to handle that well. But I did see my first pit stop with that wrench in the back, going through the back window, making a serious adjustment to that car.
Yeah, you never know what the racetrack is going to be like on a given day, and you change those things around. There was a lot of scrambling going on yesterday in practice here. A lot of drivers changing, crews changing springs and shocks and things of that nature here yesterday.
Rusty Wallace continues to run at speed. We haven't seen the smoke from that car recently. And if he is having any trouble, the crew is not giving us any indication of what it might be. Now, that's Sterling Marlin, the national house Ford, running with Rusty. And now, once again, back up front, it's Irvin going for the lead, and he will get it from Davey.
Now let's see if David's going to try to dive back on the inside.
Believe it.
Here he comes. Ernie said, "You dirty dog, let me lead this race."
You know, Ernie did that once before. He didn't learn, but it up there did. Couldn't help it, believe me. That's the situation. Here he's going to try it again. Different part of the racetrack.
He might have him this time.
Well, there it
I don't know.
I can't imagine guys having fun doing this at 170 miles an hour, but I guess it is.
It is a lot of fun, man. Ernie Irvin finally has it. Now let's see if David's going to try to get him on the inside, or Ernie, will he finally lead a lap?
Hey, I think he backed off early enough going into 3 that time. He said, I'm not going to let that thing slip up the racetrack this time. I'm going to. And he does.
Yes, he does.
David's not going to let him rest. That's right.
Now we see the smoke again from Rusty Wallace's car. Here comes Sterling Marlin.
Yeah, he really made a serious run on coming off the turn 2. Marlin will get that position. That's 11th and 12th they're running for. Let's go to John Kernan.
Talking with Eddie Dickerson, Rusty Wallace's crew chief, they put their heads together down here. They weren't quite sure what it might be, and now they've come up with what they think could be the problem, that they have overfilled. We understand that Rusty's just now been given the black flag. They may have overfilled the transmission fluid. They're hoping that maybe some of that might have spilled out on the header pipes, but Rusty's being black flagged, and we may know more about the situation in just a few laps.
Rusty, of course, will have to come in and get the car checked over.
Corey needs to do that too in the green flag conditions, because he knows he's going to lose at least a lap, and that's tough to make up here.
Especially when you're running in the top 15 as he is. And once again, the black is shown to Rusty as he crosses the line.
I would imagine that he is going to run as many laps as he thinks he can get away with under the black flag situation, because if the caution flag were to come out right now, he could do this for free. As Ned said, as it is right now, he stops. He's going to lose the lap. There's no doubt about it.
Well, they will stop scoring him if they have given a black flag to him for what they believe to be an adequate amount of time. But no, he does heed the black flag.
Well, but he did.
No.
He missed it.
He got off the banking, came down on the apron, looked like he was coming in. He decided not to. He stays out. And he didn't get the black flag that time.
No, he didn't. In fact, the flagman was motioning his head okay. Let's go back to fifth and John Kernan. What's going on?
Well, Eddie Dickerson is now in consultation with a NASCAR official. He told them about the possibility of overfilling the transmission, and it might be something as simple as the transmission fluid may have leaked out on the header pipes. And I think they may have bought that excuse for right now, because they told Eddie to let Rusty know to go ahead and stay out. And as you said, he'd let him know just before he was going to make his entrance onto pit road.
So the NASCAR officials have apparently told Rusty to stay out there, and so he does. He dropped back several positions, but he's back in the line right now.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I haven't either.
I don't think I've ever seen a black flag situation reversed like that. So what a break for Rusty.
Well, but it's fair. I mean,
fair.
you know, if they got a situation that's not harmful to the other drivers out there, certainly the first time you see smoke, you think that it's maybe putting oil on the track, and it is a detriment to the other drivers. But once it was explained to them where it's coming from, then that probably is not harming anybody else, at least not for the present time, and I think it was fair of NASCAR to do it that way.
I agree, Ed. As we're looking at the Darrell Walker, his car running a little bit better now. This is inside the Phillips 66 car driven by Lake Speed.
Now, Rusty is just ahead of Darrell, and so is Ricky Rudd. We're watching 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, and Lake Speed is running in 20th position, and now to the inside of Darrell, but made no attempt to take that position. Now, Lake does pass Darrell Waltrip, and here comes Kyle Petty.
Ooh, Kyle was down on the apron of the racetrack. Kyle, you missed the track there, buddy.
He was totally out of the groove, but he made it.
You see Kyle down the bottom of the racetrack. He's coming off 4. He got a little bit too far on the bottom.
Kyle Petty runs in 21st position.
They came down and did all that testing to see if his leg was going to be okay, Benny. Maybe he tried a new fly there. I don't think. Well, he's still down there. He's awfully low coming off of that track.
As we watch Kyle Petty, he qualified 16th. It's been 16 weeks since he was out. I said Friday or Thursday, I told Felix it's an omen. And it was an omen. Friday afternoon, Felix Zapatas crashed his helicopter on the 16th fairway of the Grandfather Country Club.
Boy, you can laugh about that because nobody was injured in that helicopter crash, but man, what a way to...
He said, I thought about you when I found out it was the 16th fairway.
Man. Back up front, it is still a battle between Ernie Irvan in car number 4 and Davey Allison in number 28. 65 laps out of 367. That will make up the 42nd annual Southern 500.
No matter how big or small your family picnic, the best things in life never change.
It's tough enough to take you 250,000 miles. Tough enough to take you from Akron to Atlanta, on to Fort Worth and Fargo.
It's the Quaker State Guarantee, a guarantee so tough your new car's engine is protected against oil-related breakdowns for 250,000 miles or 10 years.
Hartford to Hollywood.
Enroll free at your Quaker State Service Center. You could run out of roads before you run out of Quaker State protection, because Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
Calling out around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat?
The Ford factory authorized clearance is going on now. Get financing as low as 2.9 on Escort. Save up to $2,600 on F-Series pickup. Save on Taurus, Aerostar, Thunderbird, Ranger.
They're dancing in the street, yeah.
It's all at your Ford dealer now. The one and only Ford factory authorized clearance.
Enter the right guard halfway challenge. Dial 1-900-737-1100. All you have to do is register, and then if you know who is leading at the halfway point and they call you back, you will win a Pontiac Grand Prix SE. The leader of the race at the halfway point picks up $10,000 from the right guard halfway challenge. We are yellow, and we assume it's because of Rusty Wallace, who was showing a lot of smoke that time.
Yeah, it looks like it was more than a transmission blowing out some oil, because the car's still running okay, but he let out a big plume of smoke down in turn 1, and we can see the smoke coming out behind the car, but the car still seems to be running. Yeah. So evidently he's blown a line off or something.
Or a seal or something. Maybe out of the transmission.
It's going to take some work in the pits to fix it, that's for doggone sure. You're Ernie Irvan behind the pace car, and he's heading for the pits.
They have to get down below 60 miles an hour. That is the speed limit coming in and out of the pits here at Darlington.
They also can't pass the pace car. As he goes by on the racetrack, they must stay behind him. That's what happened. They almost passed him.
Irvan, Allison, Earnhardt, Kowicki, Martin. Everybody is in. Jerry punches there.
And Davey Allison on the bottom of your screen. Ernie Irvan's Kodak Chevrolet on the top. So it's Chevrolet at top, Ford bottom. They now go to the left side of Davey Allison's car, changing right side tires. Similar to the left side of Ernie Irvan's car as they were changed all 4 tires there. Tires went on the left side there, and now they're getting ready to drop Allison over the jack. He is down to the way. A lot of trouble on the front there on Irvan's car. Kodak Chevrolet. Just now finishing up the left side of Irvan's car. He is now down and away. And while I got it, guys, I might want to mention that Bill Elliott is in the pits, but he has more problems than you might realize. He has now lost a cylinder on his car and is down on 7 cylinders.
Yeah, he didn't move up too fast from that 31st position that he had on the last restart. He went up to 28th and then lost a cylinder. Busy pits on the backstretch. Look at this as the pits here on the front straightaway again have become quiet. But a lot of activity, and Kyle Petty had the hood off on his mellow yellow Pontiac. But he goes back out onto the racetrack. And we are under our second caution of the day. This one to check the racetrack because of smoke seen from the Rusty Wallace car. Thanks for joining us here at Darlington, South Carolina for the 42nd annual Heinz Southern 500. Back in a moment.
No one likes it when the cable goes out, and at STOR, we don't accept the fact that outages are bound to happen. Our techs are doing something about it. During the past year, we've installed battery backup power units in half our amplifiers, and by this time next year, these units will be standard throughout all our systems. During a power outage, these battery backups help to keep the cable signal running. STOR cable techs are working hard to keep Mother Nature from interrupting your favorite program.
STOR cable, make you feel at home.
Rose Marshall is an office manager paying over $900 per month in debts.
The car payment, the credit cards, and no tax advantage.
Anthony Williams is a hard-working foreman whose monthly expenses exceed $1,600.
I've been turned down before. What's a guy supposed to do?
18%, 19%. I'm already 1 month behind.
These homeowners may have all qualified for a second mortgage with Woodstock and saved thousands, but they didn't call. Can you afford not to?
Winston Cup replays are brought to you by Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years no matter how far you go. The 41st Southern 500 took the green flag with Dale Earnhardt on the pole, looking for his second straight race win and $30,400 in Unocal bonus money. Bill Elliott, the other member of the front row, challenged Dale. Bill, a 3-time winner at Darlington in 1985, won a $1 million bonus from R.J. Reynolds. Elliott would finish 4th today. Kyle Petty carried an in-car camera and was right behind a spinning Mark Martin and Alan Kulwicki. Alan recovered to finish 3rd. Martin's tough day continued as he was involved in another spin. The Winston Cup point leader's edge on Earnhardt would slip to 26. He was able to only muster a 6th place finish. Earnhardt, meanwhile, dominated the race. It was his second straight Southern 500 win, 3rd in a row at Darlington, and 7th career victory at the track they call Too Tough to Tame. It was a big payday for Dale also. The race purse, a $100,000 bonus, and the Unocal bonus money. The Kannapolis, North Carolina driver was well on his way to a 4th Winston Cup title. And Dale Earnhardt, as we come back live, the green has just come out, and Earnhardt has taken the lead. Davey Allison charges up into 2nd position. Bobby Hamilton let him down as the green came out, and he slips back now. Earnhardt goes back in command.
Richard Childress and the crew, Ned, are doing a super job today. Earnhardt went in running about 4th or 5th, came out leading as he did the last time.
Well, I tell you, we've seen that so many times. That pit crew means a lot when you're trying to win championships.
Bobby Hamilton getting past there. Harry Gant comes around, so does Jeff Bodine and Ernie Irvin.
And Ernie Irvin was the loser in that pit stop. They had some trouble on the right front, as Jerry Punch told you, and he went from leading back to the 7th position.
And we also might mention that Ken Schrader, who was running up in the top 10, made an extra pit stop, and he has fallen back to near the tail of the field.
Yeah, he came back in and changed all 4 tires again. For some reason, he must not have liked the feel of those. Maybe had a little vibration or something. So Schrader is back at the back of the pack trying to come up through.
3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th here.
And Earnhardt once again just moves over down the back straightaway and says, "Hey, Davey, if you want to run that hard, be my guest. It's all yours." It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, for Dale Earnhardt, they do that way, but it's smart.
And Allison, of course, doesn't argue. He goes into the lead. Battle for 3rd between Martin and Gant now.
Martin running right on the bottom of the racetrack. Both these cars running high, but he's running right on the bottom down in 1 and 2.
42 car of Kyle Petty, and a story on that from Jerry Punch.
While they were on pit road, they had the hood up on the Kyle Petty metal yellow Pontiac. And Gary Nelson, what was the problem?
Well, we missed the chassis setup pretty bad. The car's pushing. We turned on the rear adjustment bolt so far that we ran out of adjustment, so now we're working on the front bolt. So we had to open the hood to do it.
Well, the car not handling for Kyle Petty. They're trying to get the car dialed in for him.
Well, we're hearing the bits from Eddie Dickerson. And Eddie, he had Rusty in twice under that caution that caused when that puff of smoke. Is the car okay? It looks like it, I guess.
It looked like we blew up there for a while, but the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac's okay.
we're blowing a little oil out of the vents on the valve cover. So we just wrapped some rags around it, and we're hoping for the best.
They got their fingers crossed down here in the pits, hoping those rags will keep the oil from coming back up through the breathers.
Rusty restarted 31st, has gained 3 positions since the green came out, and now Ernie Irvin and Jeff Bodine are involved in a side-by-side battle. Not anymore. 5th, and Ernie takes 5th. Jeff back to 6th. Pretty much by himself out there, and we'll bring in our telemetry here and show you. Now he sneaks up on Larry Pearson.
Well, 8100 that time down the front straightaway. Jarrett had a rather long pit stop. They took the rubber out of the right front spring on the sit-go forward, so he dropped from 8th back to 18th position, but he's coming back up through there now.
Watch the speed increase. 60s into the 170s. 173, and he backs off. The RPM's got up to over 7,000 now. When you look at your tachometer on the car that you're driving on the highway, you will see a red line, which means don't exceed that. What is so-called red line on this kind of engine?
We saw 8,200 that time. We saw this car at Watkins Glen turn about 8,500. When I drove a race car, when it got to 8,000 feet, Bob, I lifted my feet because I knew I was fixing to blow up.
It was going to blow on you.
Well, I tell you, when I was driving race cars, Denny, when I got to 6,500, that's when I backed off.
Now, once in a while, you'll see on the left side of that telemetry, before below the Ford logo, the brake come on, but you'll see that very little. It's only if he has to get on it to avoid a car in front of him.
There we see it.
Yep.
As he brakes going down in the corner still, now off the brakes, back on the throttle, just ease it down. He's trying to put the throttle up, and you can see where he has to really play with the throttle as he passes the max allowance 4 of Sterling Marlin.
Taking that spring out, that right front seemed to help him.
He has moved to 11. Dale Jarrett.
He was 18th when he came in the green flag, very late.
So the throttle line goes all, and it's bouncing. It's not quite getting full throttle.
Well, that's because of the roughness here on the pavement. It's not smooth, and he thinks he's holding it wide open.
Here's Ernie Irvin passing Harry Gant. That's for a 4th position.
Ernie is definitely on the move.
3rd is Martin, 2nd Earnhardt, and the leader is Davey Allison. Then Gant and Bodine behind him. Things settling down here to a 9th pace. Nobody really racing now like they were in the first 40 or so laps of this race. 83 circuits have been completed. The lead continues to be held by Davey Allison at Darlington, the track too tough to tame.
Wow, I feel good. Knew that I would.
20 times last year, the world's best top fuelers fired it up in the final. And all 20 times, the outcome was exactly the same.
I feel good.
Every single NHRA winner was powered by the same spark plug.
So good. So good.
Autolite, we feel pretty good about that.
Wow, I feel good.
One manufacturer has more NASCAR victories than anyone. More NHRA Pro Stock victories than anyone. More consecutive IMSA GTO victories at Daytona than anyone. And more off-road victories in the last 5 years than anyone. That manufacturer is Ford. No wonder nobody enjoys the weekend like Ford.
No matter how big or small your family picnic, the best things in life never change.
Let's go, boys. Game time.
The dynamic duo of Andy Kelly and Carl Pickens leads Tennessee against All-American Ray Buchanan and the Louisville Cardinals.
It's a jungle out there. It's
Live on ESPN.
Pace car is leading the field for the third time this afternoon. The yellow coming out on lap number 85. It's been out for one full lap because of debris. And Jerry Punch is there where Bill Elliott has come in again.
They keep trying to dial in this Coors Light Ford of Bill Elliott here. They changed right side, and now they will change left side tires. Remember, they'd come in a little while ago and inserted the rubber in the right front to try to stiffen the right front, and now they have the right front tire off as a crew working up there. They have already taken the left side lug nuts off, so they're going to have to hustle because they still have to come around and change left side tires once they drop the jack on the right side of the car. Now the hood is back up on Kyle Petty's car, and you heard Gary Nelson mention they were going to try to make some adjustments in the right front of the car to get the car to handle better. They had used all the wedge bolts they could use in the rear of that mellow yellow Pontiac, and now the hood is down and he is away, and they put the left side tires back on Bill Elliott's Ford, and he indeed begins to pull away.
Here it looked like they might have taken a half rubber out of that thing, the right front spring on Bill Elliott's car. They put one in, and it looked like they took one out.
So under caution because of debris on the racetrack here at Darlington with 87 laps completed. Davey Allison still leads.
No matter how big or small your family picnic, the best things in life never change.
It's one of the most technologically advanced, most rigorously tested fluids on Earth, relentlessly measured for maximum protection against the friction, the wear and tear, the heat and stress of today's engines. It is today's Quaker State. In Europe, in Japan, in America, Quaker State quality has passed the most demanding tests automakers can throw at it. At Quaker State, we don't just say we're tough, we're tested tough. The big Q is one tough motor oil.
Going out around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat?
The Ford factory authorized clearance is going on now. Get financing as low as 2.9 on Escort. Save up to $2,600 on F-Series pickup. Save on Taurus, Aerostar, Thunderbird, Ranger.
They're dancing in the street. Yeah.
It's all at your Ford dealer now. The one and only Ford factory authorized clearance.
Morgan Shepherd's Igloo in-car camera, one of three that we have operating today here at the Heinz Southern 500 at Darlington. Tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, the fastest hour in football. NFL prime time here on ESPN as we get a chance to wrap up everything that happened today in the first Sunday of the NFL season with Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Robin Roberts. NFL primetime tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Next time around, they'll be getting the green flag. We'll get underway once again. It's Allison, Earnhardt, Martin, Irvin, and Gant, the top five. Crowd still on its feet, hasn't sit down yet since the green flag dropped almost an hour ago. Is out for the third time this afternoon on a restart, and here we go back to racing.
We see the 8. Looks like the 8 car has some trouble on the start of the race, and the cars had to move out and go around him.
Derek Cope bumping just a little, I think.
I can see that would be a problem.
Earnhardt goes for the lead again at the end of the backstretch as once again the lead changes hand. But watch Allison come back on. Nope, he's not going to be able to.
Earnhardt knew that was coming, so he said, I am not going to leave that spot open and look silly once again. I'm going to block that spot, and he did. Chad Little caused our first caution flag, and we see smoke out of Chad Little's car as he got back on the throttle.
Now, he is not in the lead lap.
No, he was our first caution. He spun up in the corner.
All-time battle is. Ford, of course, because of their dominance in the early part of NASCAR racing, has the lead overall, but Chevy is sneaking up on that total of 380. won't, of course, do it this year, but they could next year.
Boy, they zoom off of that corner.
This is outside turn 2. We also have another camera stationed outside turn 4. And as we'll switch to it, watch them, and here they come. I think you can tell just how fast these cars are running as they go by that camera.
They also come very close to that wall in 4. Earnhardt continuing to lead Davey Allison.
What's Earnhardt saying, Ned? Hey, you guys are not running fast enough. I think I'll just run off and hide from you. What do you think?
I would say that he's thinking, well, as long as I can lead comfortably, I'm going to do it. And apparently he was able to take the lead there. But if Davey gets up there pushing him, I'll bet he'll move over and let him go again.
Chad Little smoking there, and everybody going around him. It's difficult to pass on this racetrack, even if you're going slower than the rest of the field, as is the case with Chad Little.
Yeah, and even if he moves over like Chad is doing, allowing him to go by, it still is a little difficult.
It is, because we see Rick Wilson try to get by Chad Little, as Chad Little went in the corner and drifted up. Now, the last time by Doyle Ford, the flagman waved the move-over flag at Chad Little, as he's doing right now, and saying, hey, get out of these fellas' way. You're a lap down. They're not. Speaking of flagman, did you tell me that Harold Kinder was on?
That was the word we got just a few minutes before going on the air. Harold Kinder, who, of course, was so many years in the flag stand as the official NASCAR starter, was taken to Mercy Hospital in Charlotte, North Carolina last night for a perforated intestine and is in critically ill condition. So our prayers and our thoughts are with Harold Kinder and his family in this time of need.
Certainly so.
Michael Waltrip, Bobby Hamilton, that's Greg Sachs in the white and blue 47. That's 20th, 21st, 22nd. Brett Bodine, the Quaker State Buick, following that group.
And the 1980 winner of the Southern 500, Terry Labonte, in the pits in the Sunoco Oldsmobile. An unscheduled pit stop for him, changing right side tires. Now they go around to the left side. He goes a lap down as the leaders come off of turn 4. Tough break for Terry Labonte.
Billy Hagan-owned car sits on pit road as the field streaks by on the straightaway, and now they have the work completed, and Labonte goes back out onto the racetrack, but a costly pit stop for Terry.
I would think that their thinking is that we're going to get lapped if we change 2 tires. We might as well change 4 and lose a lap and a half and have a better chance of running better for an extended period.
Yep. Good thinking.
The 21 car of Dale Jarrett and the 15 car of Morgan Shepherd have been battling out there.
And Jarrett just went around Shepherd going into turn 3. Took over that position.
Jarrett is strong. He's up to 8th. Morgan Shepherd is 9th.
And Morgan Shepherd is getting a good look at the car he's going to be driving next year, because it was announced he will drive the 21 car.
Let's just listen and watch the telemetry here. See it there on the RPM telemetry meter.
Not quite up to the RPMs he was a little bit earlier, because the tires are heated up. He's not turning the lap speeds he was when we saw it just after he had put on 4 new tires. So as the speeds slow down a little bit with the hotter tires, then of course the RPMs slow down a little bit.
Now, we saw Morgan Shepherd slip and wiggle badly up in turns 1 and 2 just a moment ago.
Cost him a lot of ground, didn't it?
Yeah, we can see just how much ground he lost because of that slip.
Rusty Wallace smoking pretty badly again. Running off of turn 4.
A lot of smoke seen from the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. Coming up on Darrell Waltrip, and Ken Schrader in the black flag once again is shown to Rusty Wallace. He'll have to come in again and have that car checked over.
I'll tell you, Michael Waltrip running behind him there is sort of on pins and needles. He don't know if that thing's fixing to dump a lot of oil, rotting his tracks, or what the situation is as Schrader and Waltrip battle for position. Rusty still running strong. His car is not slowing down because of whatever is causing that smoke.
We have completed 100 out of 367 laps in the Heinz Southern 500. Rusty still out there, and there's the black flag for the second time shown to him.
And we can see Michael Walker move over. One reason he did that is because Ned said the car might blow up, but also that oil is getting on his windshield. He wanted to move over and get behind that car down the straightaway.
Rusty is running 17. Now he moves down on the inside groove as he starts to take off.
Yep, and he will heat the black flag this time and come in. And the Miller Genuine Draft crew gets ready for him. What if they're just going to put more rags on this thing and try to stop it again? John, what's the situation?
Well, they've got the rags and the tire wraps sitting out here on the pits. It looks like they're going to change tires first, take on 4 tires, then they will go under the hood, and they've got some more rags and tire wraps waiting, and that apparently is what the Miller Genuine Draft crew will do as Rusty brings the Pontiac to a stop here in the pits. They will go to work. He shuts off the engine right now. They might as well go ahead and change tires because it's going to take them a little while to get under the hood, and they're going to lose some laps effectively going out of contention.
She put the tire on backwards. Eddie almost put the tire on backwards.
NASCAR officials watch closely as they try to get this oil leak repaired.
They knew exactly what they was going to do.
Yep, they work with precision, don't they?
Yep. Somebody rolled into the tire backwards, though. When he threw it up there, he realized it would not go on that way.
It goes down. Rusty's patiently waiting. He's lost 2 laps.
No, he's not patient. He's waiting.
Here he goes.
And the leaders now, Dale Earnhardt is coming off of turn 4. Rusty might get out and stay in front of Earnhardt to keep from going another lap down.
So Dale Earnhardt continues to lead this race. We'll take a look at the top 20 as Davey Allison is in second position by about 2 or 3 car lengths. 104 of the 367 laps that will make up this race have been completed on an overcast day in South Carolina. Live coverage here on ESPN Speed World of the Heinz Southern 500. We'll be back in just a moment.
To be the official auto parts and service store of NASCAR, it takes the right parts at the right price. Right, Smokey?
Right, Darrell.
And the right tires. Right, Junior?
Right, DW.
And the right price and selection on name brand products.
While you're at Western Auto, pick up Ray Bestis Raymo brake shoes and pads for as low as $9.99. Ray Bestis, the best in brakes.
And the right service crew to keep you running strong. Right, Jeff?
Right, Darrell.
That's why I take our car to Western Auto. Right, Stevie?
Wrong, Darrell. I take it to Western Auto.
It's tough enough to take you 250,000 miles. Tough enough to take you from Akron to Atlanta, on to Fort Worth and Fargo.
It's the Quaker State Guarantee, a guarantee so tough your new car's engine is protected against oil-related breakdowns for 250,000 miles or 10 years.
Hartford to Hollywood.
Enroll free at your Quaker State Service Center. You could run out of roads before you run out of Quaker State protection, because Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
When it comes to a game, you can't stay away. Ain't sitting home, not a player gonna play. Spring the ball every year. All right, nothing beats the bud right here. Yeah, nothing beats our best Budweiser. Nothing beats the bud where you hear the cheers. You'll find the king of beers. Yeah, nothing beats the bud.
Davey Allison has moved back to the front of the Heinz Southern 500. Earnhardt is second, followed by Mark Martin, Harry Gant, and Ernie Irvan. It's been basically a battle here in the first 108 laps between Allison and Earnhardt. First one will lead, then the other. And there are 29 cars on the lead lap.
And the 26 car, Brett Bodine, is getting the black flag, Bob. The window net has come loose on his Quaker State Buick. So he'll be going into the pits on the backstretch. Tough break. Tough break for Brett Bodine. The window net coming loose. Let's see if he does anything else. He probably should. They run a while on his tires. While he's in there, probably go ahead and change tires. Maybe.
That's right. Most cars tell the on the
this last caution flag, so we'll have to see. No, they're not changing tires. They're just putting the net up.
Well, the owner of this car, Kenny Bernstein, is often here at a Winston Cup race, but not this weekend. He's got business of his own at the U.S. Nationals in Indianapolis going on this weekend. And now the 10 car of Derek Cope has come in here on the front pits. They've got the right side up on that. Jerry, what's the problem with Derek Cope?
Last time by, Bob, he tapped the wall twice coming out of turn 4. I'm not sure whether he may have had a tire going down. They're trying to pull some of the sheet metal away from the right rear and change the right side tires. He is down and away, but he has lost a lot of time under the green flag.
Look how damn loud the nose of that car is, because he's been back running about 10 or 12 behind cars this whole race, and just in 100 miles he's knocked all the paint off the nose of that car. And that's a tough break, because Derek Cope had a good run going there.
Yeah, it is. He was running in 13th position. Well, let's check on our in-car cameras. The Phillips 66 in-car camera carried by Lake Speed. He is currently shown 23rd on the lead lap. How about Morgan Shepherd in the Igloo in-car camera? He's 9th. Got some clean racetrack ahead of him.
If we could see right around that car right around in front of Morgan is the 21 car. Our next in-car camera, the sit-car camera, he's running 8th.
Sit-go camera.
And he's trying to take some move.
Yeah. That's Alan Kulwicki ahead in the Hooters Sport. And the battle for second place now as Earnhardt and Mark Martin go at it. Allison has pulled away a little bit from Dale. Well, let's go down to John Kernan, who can explain more about this Rusty Wallace problem that has emerged.
Well, Bob, last time, instead of putting the rags directly over the breather like this, what they did is they took the old breathers off and put a couple dry ones on. So this is one of the dry ones, or one of the ones they took off of the car. It's already got the oil in it and is all set to run out on the racetrack. So they've taken a rag and wrapped it around the breather, tied it down, and so next time they get a chance, if they don't have any more problems, they'll come back in and put this one back on. They hope that that solves the problems, but right now they're consulting with each other, and they've got their fingers crossed down here.
Rusty has dropped all the way back to 32nd position and lost 2 laps while they were trying to correct that problem. Meanwhile, up front, it is still Allison, and now Mark Martin in second position. Earnhardt going for 3 consecutive Southern 500 wins. Is there pressure, Dale?
It really doesn't matter. I'm going to be trying hard to win if it was 5 in a row or the first one. You know, we've got a good combination here with the car. The guys are real consistent, running some good consistent laps on the racetrack, and that's right up our alley. We're looking forward to getting there, and the tires are going to be wearing, and things are going to get hot, and it's going to be slick, and it's going to be right down our alley.
And it looks as if Earnhardt has adopted the attitude once again of let everybody go and set the pace for a while. He's brought back to 4th, and Irvin is right behind him.
I thought I saw the car wiggle up between turn 1 and 2 that time. Earnhardt's car I was talking about. Yep. And it lost a little momentum because Ernie was able to pass him with fairly at ease down the back straight again.
Now Michael Waltrip, Sterling Marlin, Bobby Hamilton, Joe Rutman, Kyle Petty, Darrell Waltrip are all running together out there.
And Ricky Rudd is right behind that group. We see the 42 car right behind him is the fellow that's second. There he is in the Winston Cup point standing. Ricky Rudd. Ricky, you don't want to be behind all this group of cars.
I asked Ricky while they were introducing the drivers down there today before the race how he felt that his car was set up pretty good. He said, no, I don't really feel good about it. He said, we didn't bring the car back here that we won the race with in the spring because somebody getting the black flag. It looks like the car number 87 of Randy Baker. But he said they ran it at Bristol last week and got it pretty banged up. They'll run it at Richmond next week. But they just, this car they thought was run real good. They said he's never didn't really get it set up the way they would like. So he's out there riding, trying to get as much out of it as he can.
Look at Kyle Petty on the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle, you still missing the racetrack.
But he moved to 17th.
That car's stuck right through on the bottom of the track. Hey, maybe he found something, guys.
Right in.
I know one thing, Kyle. You impressed me with that move.
Sterling Marlin's car doesn't seem like it's working too good.
Well, it was working good to begin with, but all of a sudden, he's having some problems.
Kyle Petty Petty in 17th, and this is how he picked up that one spot. Watch him go way down low.
The white line is the racetrack. I mean, above that's the racetrack, not below it, I thought.
Well, maybe those laps that he ran here a week and a half ago to see if he was fit to drive, maybe he did learn something because he's using an unorthodox line in there in turn 4.
Maybe that's why I never won the Southern 500. I couldn't remember what a racetrack was.
So Kyle hangs back there in 17th position. Meanwhile, up front, it is still Davey Allison who leads Mark Martin, Kerry Gant, Ernie Irvin, and Dale Earnhardt. We'll take another break and be right back with more from Darlington.
On store or cable, great performances are for beginners.
I want to fly in business class. My company only pays for coach, so I fly business class for the price of coach. It's called beating the system. Of course, you can't do it on just any airline.
On PWA, when you buy an unrestricted domestic coach ticket, you can reserve a confirmed seat in our business class for the price of coach.
You pay for coach, you sit in business class, and it isn't even your birthday.
TWA's business class. We did it first, we do it better.
If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN. There he goes. He leaps. He makes the catch. See Tuesday night doubleheaders, Wednesday night excitement, Friday night twin bills, and exclusive Sunday night action.
Bo's back, and there's no stopping him now. Don't miss the return of Bo Jackson as the White Sox host the Royals live Monday night at 8 Eastern, part of an ESPN Labor Day tripleheader.
Guard Halfway Challenge is coming up. To register to win the contest, dial 1-900-737-1100. All you have to do is register and know who was leading at the halfway point if they call you back. And you tell them who was leading at the halfway point, you will win a brand new Pontiac Grand Prix SE. And of course, the driver who is leading at the halfway point will earn $10,000. The halfway point is 184, and we have completed 123. So get your dialing fingers ready. Now, that black car there in the middle of your screen, of course, is Dale Earnhardt, who has fallen back to 6th position. And the question becomes, is there a problem with the car? Are the tires just getting wore out? Or is he employing his strategy that he talked about earlier?
I don't think he wants to go back that far, Ned. He's a half straightaway behind our leader, Davey Allison, right now.
Yeah, it's the car. We've seen it slip a few times, especially in turns 1 and 2. So might be getting a little bit loose. He's been out there a long time on this set of tires. In fact, he's been out there about 54 laps. This is the longest green flag run that we've seen. So
here comes Kwiatkowski on the inside of Earnhardt. Has position and takes the spot away. Once again, I think Earnhardt slipped up in 1 and 2, lost his momentum as he came off the corner, and that allowed Kwiatkowski to go by.
He's back to 7th. Speaking of slipping, we have seen Kyle Petty. I don't know whether he's slipping or not, but he's outside the traditional groove here at Darlington in turn number 4. Let's go down to Jerry Punch, who's with Gary Nelson.
Gary, we're seeing Kyle take a rather unusual line on the racetrack. He's all the way to the inside. What gives?
Well, the car's still pushing pretty bad. We've made a lot of improvements on it, and he said that if he drives down on the flat part of the track and frees it up a little bit, but he's really working hard to keep up with the leader. We're at least running even with the leaders now, but we're not going to be happy until we get up front.
Well, that's the real reason. A minute ago, I asked one of the crew members, he said, well, maybe Kyle has been driving on the beach so much the last month and a half at Charleston, maybe he thinks the tide's coming in.
Kyle Petty 16th at the moment, and there he was running really low down there in turn number 4. There is Davey Allison, who is leading the race. We're about 8 laps away from when we anticipate pit stops beginning, so we're going to take another break from the action and be back to catch all the activity in the pit area here at the Southern 500.
What you're about to see is a sim. Brushstrokes, runs, streaks. Now consider the new Wagner Power Painter. It has patented controls for precision. A convenient backpack for big jobs. It paints smoothly and evenly over cracks and tough surfaces. Why did we ruin this beauty? So you wouldn't ruin this one. Wagner, not just a whole lot faster, a whole lot better.
Pronto Auto Parts. From coast to coast, your local Pronto Auto Parts store features friendly service and quality auto parts at lower prices. For nationwide auto parts protection, ask the pro at Pronto. Your Pronto Parts professional offers nationwide warranty coverage on thousands of parts for your car or truck. Pronto stores have the parts, the knowledgeable people, and the prices you will like. Take advantage of the Pronto Protection Plus nationwide warranty.
When you need to know about auto parts, ask the pro at Pronto.
129 of 367 laps completed here at Darlington. The top 5 are Davey Allison, Mark Martin, Harry Gant, Ernie Irvan, and Jeff Bodine. Our Speed World coverage of the Heinz Southern 500 being brought to you by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. By Goodyear, the unanimous choice of every NASCAR Winston Cup team. And by First Brands Corporation, makers of STP oil treatment. Just laps away now from pit stops as Davey Allison and Mark Martin are running first and second.
They just put a lap on Bill Elliott a lap or two ago. Elliott is currently being shown in the 25th position, so 24 cars now remain on the lead lap.
Let's go to Jerry Punch for an update.
I just spoke to Richard Childers, the car owner there for Dale Earnhardt. They think they may have torn up a left rear tire. Remember, they're trying to be very easy on the tires, and the radials that Goodyear has brought here are a very good tire. The concern is they are so fast that they possibly can tear up if you really have the car tight on the racetrack. So Earnhardt has dropped off about a half a second a lap right now, but they are planning on pitting in another 5 or 6 laps.
Dale Jarrett has passed, and so has Alan Kulwicki. So it is now Earnhardt back into 8th position.
But Jarrett just passed Alan Kulwicki the last time around.
You don't want to stay out there with a torn-up left rear too long, because if the thing should fly apart, then Earnhardt would cause him to lose control, and into the wall he would go. But again, this is a calculated risk that Earnhardt is taking. If they think that the left rear.
Now here's a car that Morgan Shepherd had been dropping back. He's dropping down now to come into the pits. This would be a scheduled pit stop. Jimmy Spencer coming in right in front of Morgan. Jimmy had passed Morgan. And the black flag out for Chad Little, who we saw smoke from that car earlier, Bob. It looks like it's going to be terminal this time as Morgan Shepherd comes into the Bud Moore crew. See if they change all 4. Like Sterling Marlin was in a little while ago while we were on commercial break. Took on 4 tires.
There's Chad Little, who's heading for his pit on the backstretch. They are going to change all 4 tires on Morgan Shepherd's car. They've completed the work on the right side. Now they move to the left.
Jimmy Spencer has his service completed. And Davey Allison coming into the pits now.
The leader is coming in, and these are scheduled pit stops now. Jerry Punch will call this pit stop by Davey Allison as he gives up the lead.
Indeed, Davey has run now 64 laps, a little less than 88 miles. It will be a scheduled stop. Earnhardt is able to come in 2 laps. But Davey's speed suddenly began to drop off. They could have run about 4 or 5 more laps, but they may have a concern over tire wear as well. They will change right side tires. In fact, they will change all 4 tires. Most of the crews here are concerned about looking at that left rear tire. Now the jackman on the left side of the Haviland Ford. They pull off the left front. Devin Barbie puts the left front back on, the left rear going off from Joey Knuckles. Lug duster in place, it's full of fuel. He is down and away as Schrader pulls by. Allison pulls out.
Allison is coming in, so is Harry Gant at the top of your screen. Gant running in the top 5. He comes in. His pit located down ahead of Ken Schrader's.
There'll be a 4-tire change for him, and here's Dale Earnhardt coming in, and here's Frankie Spencer.
As predicted, the Goodwin crew will change all 4 tires. Remember, they were very concerned about possibly burning up a rear tire. They have changed the right side tires. A little bit of trouble now with the right front as now Kurt Shelmerdine comes around to the left side of the car. They are really making a major chassis adjustment. Richard Tools has been over the wall, jacking a lot of weight into the left rear. And now Earnhardt pulls away 20.9 seconds. We expect to see the car number 4, the Kodak Chevrolet, come down pit road. That's Ernie Irvin. Ernie sitting down where John Curtin is standing. John?
The Kodak crew goes to work. It should be a 4-tire change. They'll clean the windshield. They're going to work on the right side. 1 can of gas going in. Alan Corky on the bottom of your screen. Ernie on the top of your screen. We're going back around to the left side on the Ernie Irvin car. Making no chassis adjustment. Alan Corky is down off the Jackson on his way down pit road. Ernie is now off the Jack. And who is going to win it out? I think Ernie is going to beat Alan.
So that's about how close they were on the racetrack before they made their pit stop.
What was that they took out of the front part of Irvin's car?
I think that was something that came off of another car. I saw that hanging there, and they just pulled it off. I think it came off of another car. Here comes the leader. Mark Martin had taken over the lead. He's coming into the pits. Dale Jarrett will take over the lead now and go forward and back down to the pits and John Kernan.
The Folgers crew awaiting the arrival of Mark Martin. We're all the way down pit road. We're right at the exit going out to turn 1 now. The crew sees Mark. He's 2 pits away. They'll come off the wall, go around, and go to work on the right side. We're not anticipating any chassis adjustment at the point. You might look and see on the front that they're trying to knock off a piece of plastic, a sandwich wrapper or something that it got itself stuck to the grill. They will get that away. They have to have that away so the car can get cooled properly. Right sides are already on, left side's going on. See a little smoke boiling out from the brakes. We'll use the brakes just a little bit. A very good pit stop. It looks like his car is down and away with 4 new tires.
Dale Jarrett had the lead, but now he brings the Simcoe Ford in for a stop.
Staying within the rules, under 60 miles an hour. I think he ran out of gas, Bob, as he came off of turn 2 over there. He might have stayed out one way, but he did get back to the pits, but it cost him a little extra time. And you can see the engine is still going at about 3,000 RPM, so he's trying to keep it going while they change the tires, clean the windshield. They've already got the right side tire changed, now goes the left side.
You can also see that he's in first gear waiting for the work to be completed.
Also, the key, one thing he needs to do is keep his foot on the brake so the tire doesn't turn. He does that, and away he goes. Accelerates once again, 50 miles per hour, 56 as he exits. He's out of this now, so he can accelerate up to speed.
And accelerate he does.
That flat part of the racetrack, he can't hit the throttle until he gets through there. Has to play with the throttle, play with the throttle. Now as he goes down the back straightaway, he can nail it and go down the back straightaway and shift into 4th gear.
The 17 car of Darrell Waltrip has come in for a pit stop. John Kernan.
Well, recall earlier how Darrell needed the luck. He's still on the lead lap, and he was running 3rd before diving into the pits for a 4-tire change. They have bumped up the spoiler on the last pit stop. Get a little more downforce. Darrell had been complaining about the car being just a little bit loose. No chassis adjustment this time. They're full of gas. Darrell guns the engine and heads down pit road.
Darrell Waltrip, a 4-time winner here at Darlington, 3 times in the Southern 500.
But he's about to go a left down. I think Harry Gant perhaps got out of the pit first on all of these pit stops. He's in front of Davey Allison, and Harry going around now, coming up to catch Darrell Waltrip going into turn 3.
Kyle Petty comes in. Let me correct that. Darrell Waltrip has never won the Southern 500. He's won the Trans-South 500 4 times. Kyle Petty looking for his first win here in this race, and he brings the mellow yellow Pontiac to a stop.
Well, let me correct myself. There are some cars that have not made a pit stop. Bobby Hamilton is being shown as the leader. Kyle Petty was in 2nd. Ricky Rudd is up to 2nd place now. So some of those drivers have not made pit stops yet, as Kyle Petty does get 4 tires on the mellow yellow Pontiac.
The 68 car of Bobby Hamilton is the leader at the moment, but he is now on pit road, and so is Ricky Rudd, who is running 2nd. Hamilton stops. Ricky Rudd pitted down toward turn number 1.
Boy, Ricky Rudd was hoping that 68 car Bobby Hamilton would make a pit stop before he did so he could pick up 5 bonus points. It didn't happen. John Kernan is there to call this pit stop.
Well, once again, nothing unusual here at the pits. They've already changed the right side tires. It will be a 4-tire change. A couple cans of gasoline going here. Of course, all these, this Waddell Wilson powered car, good gas mileage, excellent gas mileage. As another teammate, Ken Strader. Ricky is down and away with 4 fresh tires.
pit stop there. 21 seconds from the Rick Hendrick crew, and Ricky Rudd goes back out onto the racetrack, and right behind him is Bobby Hamilton. Now the lead at the moment is assumed by, because of pit stops, the number 1 car of Rick Mast. So we're going to take a break and be back to update you on the standings here in the Heinz Southern 500, nearing the halfway point. We'll be right back.
Wherever dirt goes, you know it's up to no good, especially when dirt goes for your car. So when it comes to stopping dirt, okay, more people go with Fram. Because no air filter traps more dirt than Fram. It's the #1 way to stop dirt in its tracks.
Uh-oh. Oh, no!
Oh, yeah. Fram, the end of the road for dirt.
There aren't any fax machines or PCs to help you at this job. And your career path is largely determined by the mood of your horse. So why would anyone choose to work up here in the mountains? Maybe it's the fringe benefits.
At Darlington International Raceway, and the 7 car of Alan Kowicki suddenly develops a problem as he went into turn number 1, drops the Hooters Ford off the banking. A lot of smoke coming from the car. Will there be a yellow?
Rick Mast hopes so. He has not made a pit stop yet. He's still leading the race. As Alan Kowicki has pulled the window net down.
You can bet that the crew is telling Rick to stay out there, at least for the next couple of laps, to see if this does create a yellow, but I don't think it's going to, because Alan has that car well down on the apron of the track, and in fact is on pit road at the moment.
Tough break for Alan Kowicki. He will not make it 2 wins in a row. He was the winner last Saturday night, but he will not win today as he takes the car back in the garage area.
Rick Mast is leading, and now he will think about making a pit stop.
And after that caution didn't come out. Harry Gant is second. Davey Allison third. Mark Martin fourth, and Ernie Irvin fifth. Of course, all of them have made pit stops. Rick Mast in the Cole Classic Oldsmobile, and he's coming up to pass him, and Rick has got a pit stop to make yet. So Gant's about to take the lead. So Rick is going to have to fight hard to stay in the lead lap when he makes his pit stop.
And there is Gant going to the front.
And Darrell Waltrip, he is a lap down now to Harry Gant.
Shown in 20th position. Darrell Waltrip is running second now. Actually, third is Davey Allison.
As soon as he passes the 1 car, he will be a second place car.
And he is about to do that.
And our second man at the point standing, Ricky Rudd, is a lap down too. After all these pit stops, we'll get everybody squared away who is a lap down. But Ricky Rudd is currently in 22nd position, 1 lap down.
Allison taking the third.
Davey Allison go below that white line as well. Catching a little bit of the apron with his left side.
You know, Benny, Gary Nelson made the point that the car has been tight. You can only do that with a race car that the back end is really thick and tight on to get down on that flat part of the racetrack.
Let's go to Jerry Punch, who's with Alan Kowicki.
As you said, Bob, last week's winner has climbed out of it awfully early here. And Alan, what's the problem?
Something happened to the engine. I'm not sure what. I think it probably burned a bearing or something. That's too bad because the Hooters Ford Thunderbird was running good. We were 5th, 6th, 7th, someplace like that, but running well and keeping up. trying to stay out of trouble and drive a conservative race. And something happened to the engine, but that's racing. That's the way it goes. We had a good week last week and problems this week, but we'll be back.
Even able to manage somewhat of a smile here under adverse conditions at Darlington. Rob?
Alan Kowicki behind the wall and out of the Southern 500. And when you are following a car that whose engine suddenly erupts, this is what it looks like. A big puff of smoke, and Dale Jarrett takes the Citgo 4 to the inside and tries to get out of the way of Alan Kowicki.
Well, he didn't know which way to go because he saw that smoke, didn't know if it's going to drop oil on the track and he might spin in front of him. But he was able to maneuver around him and everything okay, no caution.
We know Dale Jarrett's heart is good and sound because otherwise he would have had a heart attack right there.
Jeff Bodine and Dale Earnhardt are running together.
That's Dale Jarrett, Bob.
Well, he just passed Dale Earnhardt the lap before. Now coming up on Jeff Bodine. See Earnhardt, you can see the corner of his black Chevrolet back there. Jarrett stayed out there a little longer than the others to lead a lap. And got a little further behind. He was running fifth right before they started making their pit stops, and then dropped back to about ninth, but now working his way back up. That puts him in fifth place.
Rusty Wallace making a pit stop. John Kernan reports.
Well, apparently to what we showed you, how they remedied the oil blowing out of the breathers has worked. We haven't seen any more smoke out of the number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. They are going to go to work on a 4-tire pit change. They are now around the left side. Work going on fast and furious here in the pits. Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
Likewise, an unscheduled stop down here. Bill Elliott is in and way. A great stop for the Coors Light crew. They changed all 4 tires here. A possible vibration or tire going down. Elliott is back to turn 1.
Harry Gant and Ken Schrader
putting a lap on Ken Schrader. Schrader's still in 13th position, so well, they're mowing them down. Those that were in the lead lap about not to do.
Harry Gant is the leader of the race and has just lapped a 13th place car.
Darrell Waltrip, here's the 6 car of Lake Speed going in the pits, coming in the pits.
He's put it on the back stretch.
So he's exiting the pit.
Well,
yeah, he's coming down the front straightaway here right now.
That's right. He's coming down the front stretch.
Very slow down the front stretch, we might add.
And he's getting the black flag shown again to Chad Little, who is still smoking. We thought that he'd blown up a while back, but he's still out there running. The Bullseye Barbecue Sauce Ford, and that's the Puff Arctic Pontiac of Lake Speed, Mikhail Yarborough.
This looks pretty serious, as slow as he's going, Lake Speed. Looks like an engine problem to me, as he just casually is. He's checking the tachometer to see how many RPMs he was turning. Or maybe he was checking the tachometer to reset it so they would know how many RPMs he was turning.
Now he has entered pit road and heads for his assigned stall.
The fellas I mentioned, we saw Rick Mast leading that race for a while, and then before he made his pit stop, and Harry Gant passed him, and I made mention of the fact that he had be hard-pressed to stay in the lead lap. Well, he since has made a pit stop, and he did not stay in the lead lap. In fact, Rick is currently being shown in 21st position, 1 lap behind the leaders.
And instead of going to his assigned pit position, Lake Speed takes the car behind the wall as they raise the hood and try to find the problem on that car. Harry Gant from Taylorsville, North Carolina, leads the Southern 500.
Over the last 30 years, one auto company has won more major races than anyone else. Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America. You can't win without it.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
The driver of this car adds something special to his motor oil. So does the driver of this car. They both use STP oil treatment for drivers on a racetrack or drivers on a fast track. STP.
Right now, every gallon of paint is on sale at Sears. Every interior, every exterior. Save 10 to 33% on Weather Beater, Easy Living, Dutch Boy, Olympic Stain, and more. But hurry, sale ends Labor Day at Sears.
We are 21 laps away from the halfway point as Harry Gant has the lead in the Southern 500. And the skies are looking rather gray back off of turn number 4. Harry Gant's old Bandit is showing the way nicely. You can see the dark sky there behind Harry. 30% chance of rain going into this event. And John Kernan has a story on tires on pit road.
Well, Bob, actually, I'm in the Goodyear building. You can see these guys, the tire busters, are going wild right now. Over the weekend, Goodyear brought 2,800 tires for this weekend. So far in this race, between the pit stops, you've had teams come in and have them take off the old tires, put on new tires. They've already changed 108 tires. And I'll tell you what, they got a tractor trailer truck sitting next to this building that is full of new tires. So these teams shouldn't have any problems getting the tires they need for the race.
We have seen some tire shortages that took place in the past.
I remember well the tire shortage. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, but 1968, driving Junior Donlev's car with Bullseye Barbecue Sauce sponsorship, we felt like we could have won the race if we could have found 2 more sets of tires. We could not find enough tires to run the race on. Junior, remember that?
Well, there are only 10 cars on the lead lap now, fellas. Harry Gant setting a terrific pace, and he's about to put the 10th place car of Rick Wilson a lap down. That's Jimmy Spencer right. They're running 9th and 10th. Harry Gant the leader. The Snickers Buick of Rick Wilson. There you see Davey Allison, how far behind he is. About the biggest lead we've seen anyone have today.
Harry Gant is really moving, and right now those cars in front of Harry Gant is holding him up and letting Davey Allison get a little bit closer than he was just a few laps ago, because Rick Wilson and Morgan Shep and Jimmy Spencer.
And there's the 3rd place car of Mark Martin.
Those fellas trying to stay in the lead lap, that they're holding Harry Gant up a little bit.
But he just motored around on the inside of Rick Wilson in turn 4 and got him a lap down. Rick's in 10th.
Now we're looking for the number 4 car, which is in 4th position. There he is.
He's pretty far behind.
Yep.
And even farther behind then is the 5th place car. Dale Jarrett there. He comes off of turn 4. He's about half a lap behind Harry Gant.
Field strung out somewhat. And behind Dale Jarrett would be Dale Earnhardt and then Jeff Bodine. As the telemetry goes to work once again, and we see again the RPM, the miles an hour, and the amount of throttle that Dale is using.
We're up to 8,200 RPM there again.
Now listen and watch the relationship between the throttle and the noise.
Get to ride inside of my son's race car, the Southern 500. But that's about close. That's about as close as you'll ever get.
Banking at 25 degrees in the 1st and 2nd turns, and 23 degrees in turns 3 and 4. Morgan Shepherd with the Wood Brothers next year. Completing lap number 170. We've got 14 more to go before the halfway point.
You know that Leo Jackson, his car owner, and Andy Petrie, the crew chief, they know that $10,000 is up for grabs.
Let's go to Jerry Punch for an update on the weather. Jerry?
Guys, we've retreated back to the garage area inside the NASCAR trailer where the NASCAR officials are able to sit here and monitor the weather. They can also watch our telecast here. You see the monitor we're using here inside the trailer. And but we'll show you the weather radar here just to the right of the monitor. Now, Darlington Raceway is actually this small dot here in the middle. You see South Carolina, North Carolina. The only shower we're seeing right now is about 20 miles north of Myrtle Beach, just off the coast. Looks pretty good here in the area. If there's any precipitation at all, it's going to be very, very light. So it's overcast, but right now, no threats of rain, guys.
And let's hope that continues so that we can get a full 500 miles in here this afternoon. In an event that has seen rain in the past.
Harry Gant would probably just as rather we not see 500 miles.
Dave Marcus's car smoking.
The Big Apple Market Chevrolet.
26th in the grid right now.
Yeah. Right in front of Dale Earnhardt smoking badly. Earnhardt slows down, but Marcus not putting any oil on the racetrack, or doesn't seem to be putting any oil on the racetrack.
So as a result, no caution yet. There's Gant putting a lap on the 8th place car of Morgan Shepherd.
Man, Harry is just making a shambles of these things.
Jerry Cope follows him behind.
And 11 more laps to go now to the halfway point. We're on lap number 173. And Jerry Cope is challenging the leader, Harry Gant, down the backstretch. Back with more right after this.
Feel the anticipation. You hold it deep inside. Hold on to your seat. We're gonna take you for a ride. When it's news shaking or movie making,
if the fast breaking, there's no mistaking.
Dora Cable, you make me feel. Dora Cable,
How I wanna feel.
Dora Cable, we make you feel at home.
Dacus Oldsmobile, your Oldsmobile dealer in Burlington County for 19 years, is the recipient of the Oldsmobile Citation Service Award for the past 10 years. Staffed by General Motors trained technicians, Dacus Oldsmobile prides itself with a clean shop, service while you wait, and no appointment is necessary. Backing up our service department is our award-winning computerized parts department with over 55 years of experience. Dacus Oldsmobile is a Mr. Goodwrench dealer who handles genuine GM parts. Dacus Oldsmobile, a leader in service and parts for 24 years.
Let's go, boys. Game time. Quarterback supreme, Darian Hagan leads co-defending national champion Colorado against an untamed Wyoming Saturday after Hawaii battles Iowa.
It's a jungle out there. It's
Saturday on ESPN.
Around the world, around the year, with over 1 million miles of award-winning auto racing coverage. ESPN Speed World is at the Heinz Southern 500 in Darlington, South Carolina. Labor Day tradition, 42nd annual running of this affair, and Harry Gant, the winner of the Southern 500 back in 1984, is leading this one.
Davey Allison, the second place car right at the top of the screen. The black car with a red hood. There he goes.
He's not that far behind, is he?
No, he's not. He's keeping Harry Gant in sight anyway.
Third place is Mark Martin.
Boy, Davey could pick up a lot of money if he could win the race today.
It amount to over $300,000 if Davey could win here with a couple of bonuses added.
He's already won over $1 million this year, so it's not like he needs the money, but it's nice to have.
And he's the only Winston Cup driver who has earned over $1 million just in this season alone. His winnings total, $1,020,850. Harry Gant, on the other hand, who finds himself in 10th place in the point standings, has earned $410,185 so far this year. First 20 events. Schrader and Ernie Irvin are running together. They are not on the same lap. Ernie Irvin is on the lead lap and in fact is in 4th position, and Ken Schrader is 1 lap down in 14th.
We see Irvin go down and touch the apron with his left side, so his car evidently pushing a little bit too, Ned, as he comes off the corner.
Yeah, it looks like pushing a little bit, and he's been riding a little bit high down in turns 3 and 4. I mean, 1 and 2.
4 laps to go to the halfway point. Harry Gant leading. He will win $10,000 from right guard if he is leading in 4 more laps, and somebody is going to win the Pontiac Grand Prix SE. You have registered for the right guard halfway challenge, and you are called back. You can win the car. It's been a clean race so far. The average speed above the track record, the average 136.8, and the track record is 135.4. We've only been slowed by 3 caution periods.
They were not very long.
Yeah, one for a spin involving Chad Little. We had some oil that they checked coming from Rusty Wallace's car, and then we had some debris on the racetrack. But other than that, it's been a very clean and a very safe Southern 500.
And I'm sure Harry Gant wouldn't mind seeing this thing go green flag the rest of the day.
Davey does, though, seem to be keeping up with his pace, not letting him get any further ahead. There's 182 completed, 2 more to go. There's Allison and the interval between him and Harry Gant.
Yeah, it's not like I'm giving the race to Harry Gant because there's 2 laps to halfway. I mean, we still got 250 miles to race here this afternoon, and anything can happen in the stock car race. We all know that.
Gant coming up on some heavy traffic, coming off of turn 4. You can see that traffic in front of him.
More to go. 1 to go to the halfway point. He's coming up on Rick Mast, who at one time was a leader of the race, but now is 1 lap down, running in 20th position, and may go 2 laps down here. Look at this, 145.06, the last lap speed for Harry Gant. He is in the 4th turn, headed toward the halfway point. Here he comes behind some slower traffic. But there is the halfway point of the race. Harry Gant is the leader at the halfway point. Harry Gant is the leader of the halfway challenge. And when and if you are called back by the right guard people and they ask you who is leading at the halfway point, tell them Harry Gant, and you will win a new Pontiac Grand Prix SE. Davey Allison appears to be on the move here.
But what happened? Harry Gant ran behind the slope traffic, and they held him up for just a little bit. That let Davey catch Harry for a second or 2, and now Davey's in that traffic. Harry will probably stretch it back out.
There's a Big A Auto Parts on-track interval. We timed both Gant and 3rd place Mark Martin on 5 consecutive laps, laps 172 through 176, and compared their times to see if the interval was stretching between the 1st and the 3rd place cars. It was 6.1, and it really didn't change after 5 laps.
Said about the same thing. So Mark Martin is running about the same speed as Harry Gant. The unfortunate thing for Mark Martin, he's about a straightaway behind Harry Gant.
And Harry Gant is coming up to put a lap on Jeff Bodine, who is currently being shown in 7th position. Only 7 cars are on the lead lap, and that 7th place is about to go a lap down. The Budweiser Ford of Jeff Bodine.
I'll tell you what, Harry Gant's car is really moving. But Jeff doesn't want to go a lap down, so he's trying his best to race Harry. Harry's going to try to get under him, and he does it up in between 3 and 4. That's Randy Baker directly in front of Harry Gant.
Well, we know how well this car is running. Let's get the opinion from the pit area as we talk to Andy Petrie.
Well, Bob, Andy is sitting here timing the laps of Harry. And Andy, you guys are out there just running really, really hard. Is he punishing the car at all?
Well, I hope not. We talked about this before the race. We want to keep the car healthy and run at the end of the race. I hope he's not punishing it right now. And I don't know about the weather. It might be getting ready to rain. We're going to try to stay out front, hopefully without punishing.
Did you make any changes on the car? Did you make any changes on the car or anything this morning?
Yeah, we made a couple of changes, actually. You know, this weather kind of threw a little bit of a wrench in the deal. Plus, we wasn't real happy with it yesterday afternoon, so we did make one change on it.
What was the change?
Well, we changed one of the rear springs.
There you go. Change the rear spring. They won't get any more specific than that. I can't give you guys the number.
I detected just a little bit of hesitation from Andy's voice there. I don't think he wants Harry to be running this car quite as
Well, that's exactly what I thought that he wondered. He said they talked about it in the truck and said, okay, we're going to run this speed, we're going to run a certain pace. But, you know, Harry has it in front right now, and if it feels good there, he might as well.
And I'll bet that's the key. The car feels good to him right now.
Let's take a look at the top 20 as we are just past the halfway point on this Sunday afternoon here at Darlington, South Carolina, as ESPN continues its Labor Day weekend tradition that has lasted for many years. That is the live telecast of the Heinz Southern 500 here at Darlington International Raceway. Dale Earnhardt is in 6th position. He is the last car on the lead lap. Jeff Bodine has just been lapped, and everybody else is at least 1 lap down. We'll be back with more live coverage in just a moment. Stay with us.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sports Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Right now, every gallon of paint is on sale at Sears. Every interior, every exterior. Save 10 to 33% on Weather Beater, Easy Living, Dutch Boy, Olympic Stain, and more. But hurry, sale ends Labor Day at Sears.
The technology developed on the track for the awesome 650 horsepower Lumina NASCAR champion goes into cars like this. The new 200 horsepower twin dual cam V6 Lumina Z34. Sorry, decals not included. Z34. Powerful proof more people are winning with the heartbeat of America.
When doctors were asked which of these 2 pain relief formulas they preferred, number 1, they chose the Goodies formula by more than 3-to-1 over BC's. And when people in the South
Goodies
choose their number 1 headache powder,
why, Goodies, of course.
Goodies wins again because Goodies has the formula most doctors preferred, and BC doesn't. Goodies. No wonder it's the South's number 1 headache powder.
Bo's back, and there's no stopping them now. Don't miss the return of Bo Jackson as the White Sox host the Royals live Monday night at 8 Eastern, part of an ESPN Labor Day tripleheader.
We are riding with Dale Jarrett. Now, our RPM on the telemetry isn't giving us an accurate reading, and the reason is because that RPM tachometer isn't working.
With that red hand that we see behind the black thing is supposed to be going around and squeaking down to about 7,000, now up to 8,010 straight. We can see it's not doing anything at all.
Now, how would that affect him out there on the track, if at all?
It will affect him coming down pit road because they judge their speed by the tachometer down pit road. Now, he's going down pit road blind. He has no idea how fast he's doing.
Well, of course, he's not on pit road right now, but when he does come into the pits, he will just have to sort of estimate.
Jerry Punch has more on this.
We were standing here a minute ago talking to Eddie Wood, and Eddie was saying the tachometer has quit on the car, but now something else is wrong with the car. Dale Jarrett pulls down to the inside and begins to slow. They are moving around here in the Wood Brothers pit, the Cisco pit, to figure out maybe what may have been the problem. Eddie, what's the problem with the car?
I don't know. He said something was happening. I don't know what ignition or what.
So Dale Jarrett is obviously played on the racetrack, and the Wood Brothers are prepared to bring him back in. A tough break for the driver who had such a good run here a couple of weeks ago.
Well, just as we was watching Dale Jarrett a moment ago, he reached over by the Citgo sign and flipped the switch. He switched ignition boxes on the car. Evidently, one of them died. He tried the other one, and that did not work.
So Dale, who had just moved on to the leaderboard in 5th position, a great run, is interrupted as he brings the car to a halt in the pit area, and the crew goes to work raising the hood, trying to find out what the problem is. Dale calls him over.
You think he's not hot?
They are working on that ignition box, Benny, that you mentioned.
One more drink. Yeah, see those buttons on the Cisco? That's the buttons he switched a while ago. He went from one ignition box to another, and evidently that did not work. Two little silver things, Rob.
Well, they're sending him back out now.
Only a 28-second pit stop, and he's back out there. We understand that Dale Earnhardt is going to be making a pit stop in just a moment. Dale is 5th.
It's a shame, Ned, that they could not get the tires changed on this Cisco Ford that time. It would have been a big aid because...
it wouldn't have cost him that much because everybody else has pit stops coming up. And he went farther the last time than anybody else on fuel, but...
Harry Gant's coming in. Our leader's coming in the pits.
On lap 198, Harry Gant relinquishes the lead. John Kernan is there as Harry heads towards.
Harry Gant coming in just a little bit unexpectedly. We had expected him in about 5 more laps, and all of a sudden he radioed in and said, I'm coming in. So we're not quite sure if he's run out of fuel or not. We had not had a chance to talk to Andy Teacher from here. He pulls it in. Car's still under power. Maybe he just decided that the tires had just run away so much he had to have new tires. So they will go to work a 4-tire change. And Davey Allison also into the pits, and Jerry Punch is there.
They have already changed right side tires, John. They are now working on the left side of the scheduled pit stop. They had a little bit of trouble fueling the car. Now the car is off the jack and away as he moves out around the Morgan Shepherd Motorcraft Ford. Now Dale Earnhardt has pulled his Goodrich Chevrolet in for a scheduled pit stop. They are changing right side tires, putting the windshield. They will take a good, long, strong, hard look at the left rear tire. Earnhardt crewing on the left side of the car. Kurt Shelburne changing the left front, the left rear going on from Will Lynn. David Smith will pull the jack as they clean some of the rubber out of the grill. Down and away.
Morgan Shepherd also made a pit stop. Ernie Irvin is coming in to you, John.
Well, likewise, we weren't expecting Ernie for about 4 more laps, but when the leader comes in and pits and takes on 4 new tires, he is so much faster than the other cars on used tires, it forces the hand of the other teams. They've got to come in and pit for Harry Gant as the leader would pull further and further away. It will be a 4-tire change, no chassis adjustment as of yet. And Mark Martin is coming down pit road. He will make his pit stop a couple of laps early. Ernie is down and away with 4 new tires.
Now the crew goes to work on Mark Martin's Folgers Ford. They begin to work on the right side of that car.
Also putting a half round of wedge in the car. Car a little bit loose. They put the wrench to the rear window and made a very, very slight adjustment.
Fellas, if they could have stayed out there a few more laps, I don't know if Dale Jarrett's going to get back to the pits. He went out and ran a couple of laps, but the car is awfully slow between turn 3 and 4 as Mark Martin does go out. If there's anybody else out there, there are some cars that have not made pit stops, but Dale Jarrett, you can see, he's just drinking something and just barely rolling. And I don't know if he's going to get back to the pits or not. He might be able to.
He is way down low on the inside. We can't even see him. Our view is blocked because the car is so far down on the inside of the racetrack. But it is almost at a stop. Now, Jeff Bodine comes in. I think he should have stayed out, maybe in anticipation of a yellow.
Well, if he could have, maybe he was getting low on fuel. Don't know. He probably had no choice. He had gone a lap down, but of course had gotten back up to 3rd place when the leaders had made their pit stop.
And that car is not going to make it back. It is not going to make it back. I believe it's stopped. It's stopped right there. And NASCAR will have no choice, I don't think, but go down and throw the caution flag because they're certainly not going to send any vehicle out while these cars are going around the racetrack at green flag speed.
Jeff Bodine has completed the work on his stop, and he's back out there. Now the yellow comes out. Yellow flag out for the 4th time today because of Dale Jarrett's stalled car, and this comes just after most had made a pit stop. We'll be back with more with 203 laps completed in the Heinz Southern 500.
It's one of the most technologically advanced, most rigorously tested fluids on Earth, relentlessly measured for maximum protection against the friction, the wear and tear, the heat and stress of today's engines. It is today's Quaker State. In Europe, in Japan, in America, Quaker State quality has passed the most demanding tests automakers can throw at it. At Quaker State, we don't just say we're tough, we're tested tough. The big Q is one tough motor oil.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
30 days to remember on ESPN in September. Outstanding college football is back in session every Thursday and Saturday, just to mention. Major League Baseball heats up the pennant chase, and it's life on the edge when you drive at this pace. You'll see top golfers like Nicklaus, Norman, and Strange, to name a few. And our Davis Cup team fights for the red, white, and blue. Great sports. You want to know when? In September on ESPN.
Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
We've all been in the racetrack and seen smoke begin to trail from beneath the back of a car. The crew chief might say, we think we're losing the rear end gear, or we may have lost the pump on the rear end. How does that happen? Well, one of the problems could be that this belt here, which drives the pump, could be cut or sheared away or even knocked off by debris. When that happens, it deactivates the pump completely. Now, Alan Kowicki, how do you fix that?
Well, oftentimes, Jerry, the driver might be the first one to know because he can smell that rear end grease when the pump quits working. In a case like this, we have a spare rear end belt up here on the drive shaft loop, which the crew can cut loose, and if that's the case, even replace that pump belt, possibly without even losing a lap.
And that is the story from Pump Belts as several come in for work here on pit road, including Rusty Wallace at the bottom of your screen as we work our way up. Ken Schrader is in, Larry Pearson, Kyle Petty, Morgan Shepherd, Bill Elliott, and the number 3 car of Dale Earnhardt. Let's go down for a conversation with Dale Jarrett.
They have pushed the Citgo Ford back in the garage area, and Dale Jarrett is sitting in the car. Now Len Wood is over here looking at some of the gauges as Eddie Wood is inside. Dale, what's the problem?
Jerry, something in the ignition or battery, something went dead here. Something had happened about 15 laps earlier, and I switched the boxes and got it going again, but I don't know if it's drained the battery down or what. We got a lot of equipment in here that we probably don't need to have right now. And it's unfortunate. This Citgo Ford was running great. We had a good shot at winning the race, just sitting there running the top 5, and felt good about our chances, but that's the way it is.
Well, Eddie Wood, if you look over here to the right side of Dale Jarrett, Eddie Wood is inside the car working down where the ignition is. They are trying to remove some of the blowers. They have 3 or 4 fans that are blowing on Dale and trying to get air circulating inside the car. And they said the battery may have been drained and it may indeed have gone dead. They have changed the battery. Eddie Wood's still in the car trying to get some things rewired, and hopefully they'll get Dale Jarrett back out. Remember, he is currently 15th in the Winston Cup point standings.
And the winner not too long ago is Darrell Waltrip's car is being pushed behind the pit wall. So scratch another one off from competition.
Brake problem. They'll get it fixed and send it back out there, Bob, but he'll lose some valuable time. And he had just gotten back in the lead lap,
yes,
I believe,
yep,
because of not having made a pit stop. Let's also mention this was, he's running with the calibers for the brakes. But Ricky Rudd was a big benefactor on this. Ken Schrader was a big benefactor on this. So was Darrell Waltrip, got back in the lead lap. Dick Trickle got back in the lead lap because they had not made pit stops before this caution came out. So now we have more cars on the lead lap than we did have. In fact, it's up to about 9 now. We were down to 6.
And the field lines up for a restart. The 2 abreast formation. You see the faster cars, including Harry Gann and Davey Allison, Mark Martin, the high groove, and those that are at least a lap down on the lower groove. Once again, the sellout crowd here on its feet as the green comes out, and we go back to racing on lap number 209.
There again, Davey Allison, Mark Martin had only stopped just a few laps prior to this caution flag, so they chose to stay on the racetrack and not come back in. Earnhardt, Ernie Irvin, several cars did make another pit stop on this caution flag.
He is 1 lap down in 11th.
Mark Martin trying to take over that second spot.
He'll take over second. Rusty Wallace appears to be running all right. He's in this group of cars and is many laps down. 2 laps down, only 2 laps down in 21st. Martin and Allison second and third to Harry Gann. anyway. He's running very slowly down the backstretch.
I think he did spin. And then I talked at the top of the show about drivers, sons, and fathers who've been in this race. Randy Baker's father, Buck Baker, won the Southern 500, and I forgot to mention at the top of the show.
Sure did, so that made 5 drivers in this race. As Davey Allison just motors around Mark Martin, no problem.
Goes back into second. Michael Waltrip is running with this group of cars. He is also 2 laps down in 19th position.
Michael had just made a pit stop, Bob, before the caution came out. And now, Davey Allison is on the inside of him. Trying to load it out. Here comes Mark Martin. No problem. Michael gives them all the running room they need down on the inside.
Now the 30 and 2 cars are on the same lap and icing for position.
You saw Jimmy Spencer blow up right in the middle of the front straightaway. He's high up against the wall,
way up against the wall,
trying to keep out of everyone's way, and so far he's been able to do that.
Jimmy Spencer bringing the Banquet Frozen Foods Planters peanut car to the inside of the track. Everybody passing by. His problems have developed on that car. Jimmy with a great run last Saturday night in Bristol, Tennessee, until the throttle linkage broke. Now here comes the car into the front pits once again. And Dale Jarrett is going back out on the racetrack.
Or got fire to it.
I would imagine they put a new battery in the car, and that was the problem, was a dead battery, the looks of things.
Fellas, he's about 14 laps down.
Ernie Irvin and Ricky Rudd are on the same lap. This is the battle for 5th place. Irvin goes inside and takes 5th. Ricky Rudd back to 6th. That's Dale Earnhardt, who is in 4th position, just ahead of Ernie. And again, we emphasize how big a break that was for Ricky Rudd. The most recent caution allowed him to make up a lap that he had lost previous.
That was a huge, huge break because he was looking at finishing 10 positions maybe. Oh, and there's another car. Rusty Wallace once again is smoking down in turn 1, and he's off the pace. It looks like something's broken in the engine this time, Ned.
Yeah, certainly there's more smoke than we thought before when he was black flagged a couple of times. I would say this is much more serious.
Rusty Wallace, champion of Winston Cup racing a couple of years ago. Rusty says it's an engine, and he'll be taking it behind the wall. So the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac gives it a gallant fight here this afternoon after encountering numerous problems, and it looks like this one might be terminal.
Yes, before when it smoked like that, he accelerated away. This time he's going straight to the drawing, as Ernie Irvin has passed Earnhardt and taken that spot away.
That's 4th. Earnhardt back to 5th. And Ricky Rudd is right behind Earnhardt now. Once again, Michael Waltrip takes his Pennzoil Pontiac up high and allows Ernie Irvin to pass. And now he'll go inside and allow Dale Earnhardt to pass on the outside. And the yellow is out. Probably want to check the track for oil. See if any was laid down by Rusty Wallace. 5th time that the caution flag has been waved this afternoon on the Southern 500. As the yellow lights blink on. Jerry, you see any rain out there, either in the sky or on the radar?
Unfortunately, Bob, we do. There's a lot of chatter up and down pit road about what strategy may be played out with this caution flag and others to come because some weather moving into the area. Let me show the skies have gotten darker outside, but take a look at the NASCAR radar. Now, we are right here at Darlington Raceway. Now, off the coast, a line of thunder showers has developed, but more importantly and more concerningly here, just west of us, southwest of us, over toward Columbia, see all this dark green and some of the yellow?
as Harry Gant and all the leaders begin to make their way down pit road. These thunder showers hopefully will begin to move south and east away from Darlington, but they may move. If they move due east, they could catch part of the racetrack here within an hour to an hour and a half, and we could have some rain. Right now, a lot of people concerned as pit stops begin during this caution flag, and a lot of strategy could be changed by these clouds here on the screen.
All right, pit road is busy. Harry Gant on the top of your screen and Davey Allison on the bottom. John Kernan reports.
Bob, some kind of an unusual request I brought from Harry Gant. He didn't ask him to take a round out or put a round in. He said, give me 4 tires and a couple of glasses of ice water. Service already away. Harry's away. Davey Allison is away. And there goes Ernie Irvin and Dale Earnhardt down pit road.
Not only is heat a problem here this afternoon, but it's been humid for the last couple of days. I think the humidity was 85% when we began this race. So that also is draining the drivers as they compete for 500 miles on this very tough racetrack here at the Heinz Southern 500.
It's tough enough to take you 250,000 miles. Tough enough to take you from Akron to Atlanta, on to Fort Worth and Fargo.
It's the Quaker State Guarantee. A guarantee so tough, your new car's engine is protected against oil-related breakdowns for 250,000 miles or 10 years.
Hartford to Hollywood.
Enroll free at your Quaker State Service Center. You could run out of roads before you run out of Quaker State protection, because Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
Presenting a superbly engineered high-performance machine. One designed to outperform anything the competition has ever introduced, with exceptional starting power, smooth acceleration, and outstanding fuel efficiency. What do we call this masterpiece of engineering? Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug with the advantages of pure platinum. You've never driven anything like it.
To locate a Bosch retailer or service outlet, call 1-800-882-8101.
Getting to know you.
Geostorm. Great way to get away. 16 valves. Hello, road. The turns, the hills. This is it.
Get to know Geostorm and tame Wild Road.
Now this could be contagious.
Catch one now at your Chevrolet Geo dealer. Getting to know you.
Company picnic's on today. No one's working, it's time to play. We're having fun with the whole crew. Nothing beats the fun with you, yeah. Nothing beats our best Budweiser. Nothing beats the Bud. And the toasted cheer with the king of beer. Nothing beats the Bud.
Welcome back to our ESPN Speed World live coverage of the Heinz Southern 500 from Darlington International Raceway. We're 221 laps into this 367-lap race. There are some showers in the area. We're under caution for the 5th time, anticipating a restart here in just a moment. Back after this.
Feel the anticipation. You hold it deep inside. Hold on to your seat. We're gonna take you for a ride. When it's news shaking or movie making,
there's a glass breaking, there's no mistaking.
Door Cable, you make me feel. Door Cable,
how I wanna feel.
Door Cable, we make you feel at home.
Leading off is the 91 Ford Cargo Van, a real power hitter. Batting second is the 91 Ford Explorer XLT 4x4. This one gets real traction, rounding the bases. Next up is the 91 Ford F-150 XLT Lariat. Look for this one to pick up speed, rounding third. Batting cleanup is the 92 Ford Crown Victoria, a real home run hitter. Batting fifth is the 91 Ford Taurus GL 4-door sedan. And rounding out the lineup is the 91 Escort GT 2-door hatchback.
This should be a high score.
Lights on top of the pace car are out. We'll be going green here in just a moment. We do have an opportunity to show you what's coming up on ESPN tonight. After our race at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, the Busch World Cup jet ski competition from Orlando. Baseball tonight with all the results this afternoon at 6 o'clock. Then a recap of what happened in the NFL today, the first Sunday of the season at 7 o'clock. Sunday night baseball, the Pirates and the Padres at 8, and then Sports Center with a wrap-up of all the day's sports activity at 11 o'clock tonight. Getting set to go back to green with Harry Gant still in command of the Southern 500, and 9 cars are on the lead lap as we go back to green on lap number 224.
Harry Gant, Mark Martin.
Yep, Mark.
Davey Allison. That was the way that the cars came out of the pits.
Gant took off, but Mark Martin came right behind him. Now Allison and Irvin come along.
Earnhardt rides fifth. That's third and fourth. Allison third. Ernie Irvin fourth.
Morgan Shepherd. That is 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Well, Ken Schrader is one of those drivers that's on the lead lap, currently being shown what in the 7th position.
A blue in-car camera providing the action here from Morgan Shepherd's perspective. That is Schrader just ahead, and Kyle Petty up ahead of Schrader.
Once again, Kyle Petty's down on the apron of the racetrack coming off turn 4, trying to get the car loosened up, as Gary Nelson told us. It's really wild to see that, though.
If the fans are wondering, they saw Ken Schrader get lapped a while back. Well, the reason he got back in the lead lap, he called a caution. Everybody else had pitted, and he had not pitted, getting good gas mileage. And so he called a caution when Dale Jarrett stalled on the track. So that put him back in the lead lap. And that's why we have 9 now as opposed to 5 a little while ago.
Petty running 12th. Morgan Shepherd 13th.
They are, of course, a lap down.
Right.
In fact, there are about 9 cars also that are 1 lap down. Bob, is that 8 cars?
Yeah, 8 cars in the lead lap, and then down through 9 through 17 are 1 lap down. 18 through 24, 2 laps down.
You hear Morgan Shepherd as he plays with the throttle on that motorcraft Ford. There's Schrader looking inside of Kyle Petty. Able to get by down in turn 1.
And of course, those that are on the lead lap are Harry Gant, the leader, Mark Martin, Davey Allison, Ernie Irvin, Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd is in 6th, Ken Schrader is 7th, and 8th is car number 24, Dick Prickle. That's the 8 cars that are in the lead lap.
And now the Western Auto Race Summary. Harry Gant, leader, has led 73 of the 225 laps. We've had 5 caution periods for a total of 21 laps and 18 lead changes among 10 drivers. The average speed 132.44 miles an hour. Those that have led include Allison, Ted Musgrave led a lap, so did Earnhardt, Martin, Irvin, Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Hamilton, Dale Jarrett, Rick Mast, and the current leader, Harry Gant. Those that have gone behind the wall, James Hilton, Mark Stahl, Kowicki, Speed, Little, Marcus, and the most recent, Rusty Wallace. Now, the standings in the Western Auto Mechanic of the Year race, Larry McReynolds of Davey Allison's team is on top, but only by a single point over Alan Kowicki's Danny Glad. Robin Pemberton from Mark Martin's crew is third in the standings, then Tony Glover and Kirk Shelmerdine. Watching second and third position, Mark Martin and Davey Allison. Harry Gant has pretty much checked out again, hasn't he?
Yes, he's got a pretty good lead. In fact, I'll put my unofficial stopwatch on him. It's about 1 8/10 seconds. You can see the distance between second and third there. You can see Gant over that side of the screen.
And there's Harry.
You know, the first 100 miles of the race, Harry Gant didn't show that much strength, but they made a pit stop on the green. Andy Petrie and the crew put him in first place, and I don't think he's been out of first since, has he?
Don't think so, except during green flag pit stop.
Once again, an indication of the interval between the first and second and third place cars. Working just behind these guys in fourth position. position is Ernie Irvin, but now Davey Allison won second place, and Martin had no resistance whatsoever.
I think he slipped. I think Mark Martin slipped. He got the car a little bit sideways, had to carry it up the hill to catch the back end, and Davey Allison was able to get by. What tells me that is the gap between Martin and Davey Allison.
Now,
Gary Cope, Sterling Marlin, both down the lap. Ricky Rudd is on the lead lap, and so is Ken Schrader. So Rudd is flag. Michael Waltrip spinning off turn number 4. Kept it away from the wall, I believe.
Didn't hit anything that I can see.
It looks like it.
He's got a flat right rear tire. The right rear is flat, and there's some damage to the left rear, maybe?
Yeah, left quarter panel there.
So we're slowed for the 6th time today because of the spin up in turn 4 by Michael Waltrip. He's one of those pitted on the backstretch, so he doesn't have all that far to go to get that flat tire changed.
Running at 19th position.
We'll take a look at the spin from our speed shot, which is now look way at the top of your screen. It's going to be pretty difficult for us to see, but oh yeah, he was running with somebody and got sideways.
Looks like he tried to turn under them, and I shouldn't speculate. I have no idea why.
Well, at least you admit it. Anyway, Michael Waltrip is.
He's in the garage. He didn't go in the pits. He went back behind pit wall.
Straight to the garage. All right, pit stops are going to be occurring again as those running up front come down again, led by Gant. Allison's right behind him, then Martin, Irvin, Earnhardt, Jerry Punch is there.
Here again on the top of your screen, as you see Dale Earnhardt on the bottom of the Goodrich. Allison on the bottom of your screen in the car number 28 as we get our split screen here. You see Oldsmobile on top, Ford on the bottom. Are changing left side tires now on the Haviland Ford of Davey Allison. Andy Petrie, the crew, working on Harry Gant's car. Left side on Harry Gant's car is Allison's car already off Jackson away. Harry Gant is down and away. Earnhardt is likewise moving down, and Allison will beat Gant down pit road. Remember, 60 miles an hour is all you can do as they move back to turn 1.
Allison with a nice pit stop, and he got out ahead of Gant and Martin and Earnhardt.
Well, came in third, goes out first.
Looks like Andy Petrie had just a little bit of trouble in the right rear, which slowed Harry's stop down just a tick. But boy, they have been having some super pit stops today in that Skoal crew.
They really have.
And Mark Martin is going to take second because he did cross that line, that white line at the end of pit road before Harry Gant. NASCAR has moved him up to second place.
That is the determining factor, that line located right at the end of pit road. You're watching live coverage of the Heinz Southern 500.
To be the official auto parts and service store of NASCAR, it takes the right parts at the right price. Right, Smokey?
Right, Darrell.
And the right tires. Right, Junior?
Right, DW.
And the right price and selection on name brand products.
While you're at Western Auto, pick up Ray Bestis Raymold brake shoes and pads for as low as $9.99. Ray Bestis, the best in brakes.
And the right service crew to keep you running strong. Right, Jeff?
Right, Darrell.
That's why I take our car to Western Auto. Right, Stevie?
Wrong, Darrell. I take it to Western Auto.
This is where America gets together. Every weekend throughout America, there is great NASCAR racing.
I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Jack Nicklaus, Ian Baker Finch, Greg Norman. Just some of the champions Wayne Levy must beat to defend his Canadian Open title. Complete coverage begins Thursday afternoon at 3:30 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Caution flag is out once again here at Darlington because of a spin involving Michael Waltrip. He's okay, but has gone behind the wall in the garage area, as a matter of fact. And now the field gets set for a restart. Because of the way they came out of the pits, Davey Allison will be at the front of the field when we go back to green, and Mark Martin will be right behind, followed by Harry Gant, Dale Earnhardt, and Ernie Irvan. Well, tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, you can see delayed coverage of the Vancouver Indy from Pacific Place. That's the kart race that is being run this afternoon in British Columbia, but will be on the air tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time here on ESPN, as the points battle in that series also tightens up. Now 4 drivers actually going for the championship of the PPG series. Bill Elliott has been in and out of the pits all day. He is in once again. The hood up on the car, and they're trying to get him out before the field comes around, and they will do so. The field is in turn number 4, getting set for green flag action.
Jeff Bodine a lap down in the Budweiser Ford beside of Davey Allison.
Bodine being shown in nice position. 8 cars still in the lead lap.
There's the green. Now then, Harry Gant has been able to keep in front of these Fords. When he was in front, can he pass the Fords? That's the question that may be resolved in the next 15, 20 minutes. Derek Cope goes up and almost, and look, Earnhardt gets hung on the inside behind Cope, and cars are going by Dale Earnhardt on the outside. Irvin goes by.
You're in a situation where Earnhardt, you don't know which way to go. Now I believe it might work out, but I don't know. He's going to get caught down there, sure enough. It's going to cost him at least the 1 position for the Earnhardt.
Sure is. He's going to be passed.
And some deal where you can just turn right because there's cars out there. Dick Triffett smoking as he came off that second corner. That's a tough break because they're having a good run going today in that Team 3 Pontiac.
He had got out in the lead lap.
Harry Gant is locked on Mark Martin's bumper for second position. Davey Allison has taken off and has stretched out his advantage a little bit.
Over in
Morgan Shepherd and Brett Bodine spin over in the second corner.
I think Ricky Rudd just did get through that crash. The fellow who's second in the point standings. I know he's going slow down the back. This is inside Morgan Shepherd's car, Ned. You start to say something a minute ago?
Well, I started to say he was going awfully slow. He might have got bumped. I'm not sure.
But here's a look at it.
Morgan goes up and gets in the wall. And Rudd. He makes some contact.
Get bumped. He's a lot of damage to the right front of the Tide Chevrolet, and you can see why.
Man, oh man. He got way up on 2 wheels. Well, Morgan Shepherd has his car running again. This is our 7th caution of the afternoon. We ran so many laps there without a caution, and now we've had 2 or 3 in a row. 240 laps are completed. And we'll be back with more from Darlington.
John, how you doing? You know, AutoZone customers are pretty special. I mean, they take great pains in doing a job just right. So they know exactly what they want. That's why we carry so many parts. And also why we price them so low every day of the week. Because you gotta admire a guy who'll tackle a job like putting in a starter, a water pump, a rack and pinion. And you gotta give a guy like that exactly what he wants. The right parts and the right price.
How to live like a mountain man. A true mountain man lives a solitary life, living for nothing more than an honest day's work and the rugged companionship of his fellow mountain men. It's a full-time job, but it does have its rewards, like smooth bush beer and easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains. Because once a mountain man has his mountain, what more could he possibly want?
What you're about to see is a sim. Brushstrokes, runs, streaks. Now consider the new Wagner Power Painter. It has patented controls for precision. A convenient backpack for big jobs. It paints smoothly and evenly over cracks and tough surfaces. Why did we ruin this beauty? So you wouldn't ruin this one. Wagner, not just a whole lot faster, a whole lot better.
Where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials?
More. But hurry, sale ends Labor Day at Sears.
Just a little more than 100 laps remaining in the Southern 500. The top 5 are Davey Allison, Harry Gant, Ernie Irvin, Mark Martin, and Ken Schrader. Our Speed World coverage of the Southern 500 is being brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement. By Levi's 505 and 540 jeans for men. And by Midas for mufflers, brakes, and shocks. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody. And nobody right now is able to beat Davey Allison, who leads the race. Harry Gant trailing along in second. Then comes Ernie Irvin, and Mark Martin, and Dale Earnhardt.
Now, according to my unofficial stopwatch, Harry Gant is gaining ever so slightly on Davey Allison, maybe about 400 or 500 of a second per lap.
That's not much, but we've still got a long ways to go. He could very well catch him before the race is over.
Bill Elliott he's got a long way to go. He's back in 22nd position. You know, the guy that won the Pontiac Grand Prix with Reichardt said he was a Harry Gant fan, but his very favorite driver was Bill Elliott. Jerry, what's Bill's situation?
Well, Bob, we realized we reported earlier that Bill Elliott was down on 7 cylinders, and he is being shown now 5 laps down at 22nd spot. But the good news for the Bill Elliott fans listening and watching is that he made a pit stop during the last caution flag, and they changed all 8 spark plugs and found that they had a couple of spark plugs that had a problem, and now he is back on 8 cylinders. Unfortunately, he is down 5 laps, but running on all 8 here at Darlington.
So Bill Elliott will stay out there and gain as many Winston Cup points as he can. He is currently 11th in the Winston Cup point standing, some 532 behind the leader, Dale Earnhardt. The leader of the race is Davey Allison. A lot of money? Yeah. The purse for winning the race, $114,000 in Unocal bonus money and a $100,000 bonus from RJR. You thinking about that payroll, or you thinking about winning the race?
If we can win. That's the key. But car's running good. You know, it's a long race. We just got to take care of everything between the green flags and the checkered flags. Try to stay out front and stay out of trouble all day. Try not to run into the wall any like I have a habit of doing here.
Well, at least he's honest, too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know, he must have heard me say that Harry Gant was gaining a little bit on him now. Davey has opened up that lead just a little bit. It was about a second and a half. Then it got down to about a second and 2/10, but now it has opened up to about 1/16 second.
This car, by the way, that Davey is driving here today is an all-new T-Bird. In fact, it had never been run in competition. They tested with it at Richmond not too long ago, but it's a brand-new car. They nicknamed it Lewis because of the Ford aerodynamicist, Lou Duncan, who had a great hand in putting this car together. So Allison has obviously got himself a fast race car because he is pulling away from Harry Gant at the moment. What does Lewis do? He's the aerodynamicist for Ford.
I don't think that's a word.
That's impressive that he could say that.
I don't believe that's a word. I'm going to have to look that up in the dictionary.
Aerodynamicist?
Anyway.
He's a specialist in
aerodynamics.
Exactly. Okay, I believe that.
Well, we got to get another break in here while things have kind of settled down, and Davey has a very comfortable lead at the moment. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday from Darlington.
The Greens at Delran announces the addition of the Nick Maneri Golf School. Nick Maneri, a PGA professional and teaching pro for over 20 years, is now giving private lessons at the Greens at Delran. After your lessons, you can purchase everything you need for your golf game from the Greens at Delran Discount Pro Shop. Nick will help you choose the clubs, bags, and apparel that are suited best for you. We carry all top manufacturers of golf equipment from Ping, Tommy Armour, Spalding, and Lamode. So after you learn to play your best, look your best from the Greens at Delran.
store or cable, great performances are for beginners.
If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN. There he goes. He leaps. He makes the catch. See Tuesday night doubleheaders, Wednesday night excitement, Friday night twin bills, and exclusive Sunday night action.
Bo's back, and there's no stopping him now. Don't miss the return of Bo Jackson as the White Sox host the Royals live Monday night at 8 Eastern, part of an ESPN Labor Day triple header.
Southern 500, now 105 laps to go. Davey Allison is the leader of the race. Harry Gant running second, and Ernie Irvin is running in third spot.
Looks like the lead's about maintained, hasn't it, Ned? It's about the same.
Yeah, it's about 1 7/10 seconds now. They've stabilized for the last 5 or so laps.
Davies Ford leading in this Oldsmobile driven by Harry Gant running second. The last win for an Oldsmobile in the Southern 500. 1978. The driver, Bill Yarbrough. Very good. Other Olds winners in this event: 1953, Buck Baker. 1952, Monty Flock.
You're just full of it.
Let me see. The only Pontiac to win at Darlington, Buck Baker in 1960.
You know, you talked about playing softball.
Who was talking about playing softball?
We were talking about on the break a moment ago. September the 17th, the NASCAR drivers are going to play the NHRA drivers in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yep.
And
at Knight Stadium.
At Knight Stadium down there.
And I'll tell you what, if the NHRA guys don't play any better in that game than they did against us on Wednesday morning, they got some problems.
I heard they were practicing. As a matter of fact, we've got some tape. I've been practicing up in Indianapolis last week. Here we go. Darrell Gwynn throws out the first pitch. Now the NHRA drivers are huddling, getting all the strategy. That's Joe Amato, Kenny Bernstein. And there's our Bob Jenkins.
Wait a minute.
All right.
You said you didn't have this videotape.
And there's Jenkins.
Look at that hit.
Look, now watch him leg this run out. Oh, Jenkins, I'm so proud of you. All right, here we go. This is the media from Indianapolis. Another little bloop single in there. We're scoring a run. Now watch Jenkins. He's coming into third. Oh! Jenkins, why didn't you slide?
Well, I tried.
Here's a replay. Watch this.
You can't slide. It's illegal to slide.
Oh, it is?
That's Pat Austin.
Oh.
Besides that, I can hurt myself.
Okay, now here we go.
Now watch this.
Run. You're supposed to run him out even though you...
That's Kenny Bernstein that caught that towering fly ball.
All right, here's a little grounder. Oh, Gary Lee. Oh, Jenkins. That's Bob, our hero, number 10. Once again, in replay, Gary Lee takes a header.
It takes a bad bounce. Watch it.
Yeah,
see?
right. Uh-huh. I mean, they threw him out of the game, so Jenkins, you're out of here. There's he and his wife, Pam, leaving. And here's his replacement, a perfect softball player. That's the base you cover right there. There you go. That's the one. There you go. Jenkins.
It was 18-6 in the 5th inning, and we won 21-7.
You stink as a softball
I thought
player.
you guys said you didn't have any videotape of that.
Surprise, surprise.
Davey Allison. Well, we had some fun with Bob Jenkins.
The worst thing about that, I couldn't move the next morning. Allison continues to lead.
Here's Harry Gant, going by Ricky Rudd. Ernie Irvin had a little bit of a lead on Mark Martin just a little bit ago, and here comes Martin. He's caught Irvin, and looks like he's trying to get, well, I know he's trying to get by.
Yeah, he is. This is the third.
Ooh, that was so close down in the corner. That right front almost touched that left rear of Ernie's car. Meanwhile, they come off the corner, and Martin has position if he can accelerate by. He does.
Mark Martin goes to third. Ernie back to fourth. The 5th place car is Ken Schrader. 6th is Dale Earnhardt, and those are the only cars that are on the lead lap.
Derek Cope now in 7th place, 1 lap down. Sterling Marlin is 8th. And in 9th place, Kyle Petty. And 10th is Terry Labonte. Each of those cars 1 lap down. 11th is Rick Wilson. He also is 1 lap down. 12th is Rick Mast. He's a lap down. 13th is Jeff Woodine. He's a lap down. And Dick Triple back in the pits again.
We see him putting front end plates under the front of that car. That means he's knocked the toe end out. They're going to roll the car up and try to adjust the toe end. John Turner, you there?
Yeah, Benny, we just got down here. Barry Dodson and the crew will go to work, and I believe they're going to do exactly what you're talking about. They're getting ready to roll it up. Must have the toe end knocked out just a little bit. And they will roll the car up on that, as you said, and make the adjustment. At least I believe they're doing that. I thought they would have rolled it up by now. Barry Dodson working on that right front.
They had a pretty good run going. He was in 15th position when he came in.
What they do is they roll the car up on that plate, and that plate's on ball bearings, and it swivels back and forth. So they take the wrap out of the tire. Any strain the tire has on it, when they roll on that plate, it takes that strain out, and they can adjust the toe end, and that's what they're doing with that string. But again, I'm like John. I would have thought that they would have rolled it up on the plates by now.
That's the Team 3 Pontiac that will be driven next year by Kenny Wallace.
This is the left side we're seeing. We can't see the right side. What's happened is Trickle has brushed the wall at someplace on the racetrack and has knocked the toe end out because the right side has the infamous Darlington stripe on it.
We're within 100 laps now to finish. 95, as a matter of fact, before the checkered flag falls on this 42nd edition of the Southern 500. As the leader, Davey Allison, goes high on the racetrack past the number 47 car of Greg Sachs. Big A Auto Parts on track interval, timing Allison and Gant on 5 successive laps.
Well, Gant has picked up in 5 laps, almost 1 second. Is what our Big A is showing, 9/10 of a second. So that's quite a bit. That's about 250 feet.
And there is the interval on the racetrack.
It's about 250 feet.
Yes. Lap times there are reflecting a 2-second interval at the top and all the way to 1.1. As far as the times themselves are concerned, Gant pretty consistent.
He's very consistent. We see Allison with a 32.7, but down to a 33.4. That's, in racing terms, inconsistent, although a slow car can cause that.
And I think on that particular lap, he did pass someone, and that would reflect a different speed.
So with 275 laps now gone here at Darlington, South Carolina in the Southern 500, Davey Allison continues to show the way, and we'll have more live coverage in just a moment.
Top-of-the-line parts.
Red, blue, and white.
Expert advice.
It's a good sign.
Your Big A Auto Parts store.
Keeps your car running right.
Where the pros go for auto parts.
Big A, the sign that keeps your car running right.
Someone to depend on when you need to depend on your car.
Get on, get on, get on, get on, excitement.
The sport coupes of Pontiac.
Run, wait, ride.
The 24-valve Grand Prix GTP with 210 horsepower. The V8 Thunder of Firebird Trans Am. And the V6 Pickup Sunbird GT. High style and high performance. Pontiac excitement most abundant.
Get on the Pontiac. Get on excitement. Oh, here we go. Good dust, baby. Zombie Blitz! How you like me now, baby? Got good life insurance? Call 911!
Back at the Southern 500 in Darlington, and if we still had Benny's Hat of the Week, boy, this would qualify, wouldn't it, Benny? That's a nice one there.
That would definitely be Hat of the Week.
That is good stuff.
Is he running the scanner? Is that the fellow beside of him that's got the radio scanner?
Not sure. Anyway,
Here goes Davey Allison putting another lap on the King Richard Petty, who is 19th in the serial scoring.
Brett Bodine, the Quaker State Buick, directly in front of Davey.
He is 18th.
So that's one thing Davey does not want to do. He doesn't want to run across the slow traffic and follow him through a corner, because that will cost him half a second, 0.6 of a second, as we saw just a moment ago in that Big 8.
Dale Jarrett signaling the drivers behind him. Yeah, Dale is back out on the racetrack after about 14 laps in the pit area to correct an electrical problem. Dale is 28th.
That was Harry Gant, the leader that he motioned to. He said, go ahead, I realize you're back there. I'm going to back off and let you have the groove.
Second place car, Harry Gant, behind Davey Allison. Still running third is Mark Martin. Fourth is Ernie Irvin, and fifth is Kenny Slater. That hasn't changed. Dale Earnhardt is sixth. 6 cars on the lead lap.
7 through 10 is Derek Cope, Kyle Petty, Sterling Marlin, and Rick Wilson. 11 through 15.
Oh. Excuse me, Benny. Harry just wiggled a little bit there.
So he did.
It's okay now.
Where'd I get to? I got to 11th, didn't I? Oh, we're going to replay this first, okay?
See what you missed.
Harry Gant goes down in the corner, and the left front hits the apron. See when the car hits the apron? Now he goes up, and he does wiggle.
He does.
Good job saving the car. Finished 5th in this race. 11 through 15. Whoops. They changed the monitor on me. They don't want me to tell who's 11 through 15. Let's update him. Go ahead. Terry Labonte, Rick Mast, Jeff Bodine, Morgan Shepherd, and Bobby Hamilton. 16 through 20, Joe Rutman, Hutch Strickland, Brett Bodine, Richard Petty, and Ricky Rose.
And Ernie Irvin, as you mentioned, runs 4th here in this race. Ernie Irvin, we asked him earlier in the weekend, what is the hardest part about driving this track that they call too tough to tame?
Well, by the time you leave the pit, the time you get back in, it's the hardest part I know. I'm going to be glad when they switch the back straightaway to the front straightaway. Turn 4 won't be near as bad then. Turn 2 is going to be pretty treacherous, but turn 4 won't be too bad. But, you know, it's, you race here, you know, but, you know, the fans out there really don't understand it, but, you know, you get in the middle of turn 3 and 4, and you're wide open all the way to the middle, and you got to kind of lift and get the car turned while you're doing about 150 miles an hour. And it's hard to get that car turned just right that you can exit off that corner without slapping the outside wall, or without getting loose, without hitting the apron. It's a 2-lane racetrack, and that's it. And it's just tough to get around.
Well, Ernie Irvin even admits it's tough. But you know, Benny, one guy had this place figured out. Back in 1965, won this race by 14 laps, the largest margin in the history of NASCAR racing, Ned Jarrett.
Boy, I was getting it done.
I'm telling you, you had it hooked up.
14 laps on Ned. And you had trouble, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. The car was overheating, running about 240 degrees every time I would accelerate down the straightaway the last 100 miles, and just nursing, praying that thing wouldn't quit. And it didn't.
Just like Davey Allison is doing right now. He just wishes this thing would be over. Because if it was, he would take home about $300,000.
Boy, what a big payday it's going to be for Davey if he can hold on for a few more laps. 286 out of 367 completed in the Heinz Southern 500. We'll be right back.
Joe Amato. When he goes out for a Sunday drive, he goes with Autolite. But Monday through Saturday, Joe goes one better. Autolite Platinum, the premium performance plug for your everyday driving. This Joe's not your average Sunday driver. And Autolite Platinum's not your average everyday plug.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know And it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Get on, get on, get on, get on, excitement.
The all-new Pontiac Bonneville.
A new way to ride.
More than a work of art, an engineering masterpiece. With the stability of four-wheel independent suspension and the accuracy of anti-lock brakes. The art of excitement, the science of control. The all-new Pontiac Bonneville.
Get on the Pontiac. Get on excitement.
Southern 500 here at Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina. Davey Allison continues to set the pace, but his lead over Harry Gant is shrinking, and as a matter of fact, it is quickly disappearing as Harry Gant closes on the back bumper of Allison.
Davey Allison has some type of problem. I'm not sure what, but he has some type of problem. Jerry Punch, do you know what kind of problem he has?
Bob, unfortunately, it's the same kind of problem that plagued Jimmy Spencer last week when he was leading at Bristol. He has a throttle linkage problem. Apparently, the throttle is hanging up in the car, not acting right. The concern they have is they could bring him down pit road and try to fix it, but they are definitely not up to full speed and full throttle, and Harry Gant is closing in a hurry. Now, Gant closes to within about 2 car lengths to head to turn 1, but the concern is that it may rain here within the next few minutes. They are watching the skies, knowing that possibly some clouds are moving into the area, and they would like to see a caution flag and hopefully be able to get him in under caution where everyone would fit at the same time.
So don't go away. This thing isn't over yet by any means as we show you the field summary and how the cars are running here with 291 laps completed.
You know, it's strange that Davey Allison would have a throttle problem because he had a throttle problem at the Coca-Cola 600 in qualifying that probably kept him from sitting on the pole, and then he went ahead and won the race. And the pole at Charlotte's worth about $50,000. Remember, Ned, the throttle was hitting the air cleaner and cost him a shot at the pole. I think he ended up qualifying about 10.
Fellas, I think they're only about 7 or 8 laps away from scheduled pit stops.
Boy, they are. They huddling down there at 1, are they? We're going to run...
Here's the change of lead as Harry Gant comes to the inside of Davey off the 4th corner. They come down the straightaway side by side. At the line, Allison is in the lead, but when they get to turn 1, it's Harry Gant who goes to the front.
Here comes Davey back on the inside, and watch that move. Unbelievable.
And Gant wiggles a little in turn 2.
But what happens? Davey just can't get in the corner with that throttle hanging the way it is. He has to back off early, get in the corner, and Harry drives in and makes up some ground going in the corner.
Well, we had a change of lead, but they're back the same way they have been for the last few laps, with Allison leading and Gant running second.
Get on excitement.
The all-new Pontiac Bonneville.
Feel the control.
Equipped with the stability of four-wheel independent suspension, the stopping power of optional anti-lock brakes, and the grip of traction control. Bonneville reaffirms our belief that the most important safety feature in any car is a driver in control. The all-new Bonneville.
Get on excitement.
Nobody can give you a price to repair your exhaust system until they check it out. From here to here. At Midas, before you get a price, you get a free inspection. And you get a guaranteed estimate, so you'll know what it'll cost right up front. You get Midas-trained experts and a Midas guarantee.
And that guarantee is good in over 1,700 Midas shops all across the country.
When we give you a price, believe it. And believe this, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Yellow is out here at Darlington for the 8th time today as Michael Waltrip has made contact with the wall up in turn number 2. He also had contact with Davey Allison before that. The car spun around and came up and attacked the outside wall. Here it is. Watch the left of your screen.
Michael is trying to move down to get out of Davey's way, and Davey's going in there so fast that he can't slow the car down fast enough. Taps Michael. Around he goes and goes back up the wall, and Morgan Shepherd barely gets through.
And here it is from another angle.
Michael has been running high all day, and I guess that if Davey expected Michael to run high again that time, Michael was trying to be a gentleman, I think, and get out of the way. And he got tapped by Davey.
Well, they were about ready for pit stops, fellas. Now they get to make them during a caution.
Allison is in, Gant is in, so is Mark Martin. Jerry Punch is there.
The problem with the throttle linkage will create a problem also for their pit stop. They can only change 2 tires at a time because you can only have 7 men over the wall. They will change 2 tires on the right side. It'll cost them some time on the left side of the car because they have to have 2 guys working underneath the hood. They're taking the breather off, and they're trying to make sure they don't get more than 7 men over the wall. They have the car shut off. Now they have the left side tires on, and the crowd applauding here as they watch Davey Allison's car. And here again now moves down pit road. They have taken the breather off. They lowered the hood, and Davey Allison, they are going to hold Davey Allison because he had an extra man over the wall. And they wanted to put the breather back on the car. They're telling him he has to put the breather back on the car. And let's listen.
That much, that extra penalty, because they stayed in the lead lap.
And they're going to go to the end of all the cars on the lead lap anyway.
Larry McReynolds is a very, very unhappy person, and he let his frustrations be known to the NASCAR official down there. Anyway, that little incident is over, and we still have caution here at Darlington.
Hello, I'm Mike Mullen. The last time we met, I mentioned that my office has helped many people obtain benefits from accidental injuries. Now I'd like you to meet some of those people.
He's wonderful. He's excellent. I praise him very highly.
Mike was always there when I needed him, you know, during the 20 months that I was out of work, and I'm sure he could be there for you, too.
Down to your Toyota dealers right away, because year-end clearance prices are dropping on all Toyota 4Runners, trucks, and vans. Toyota trucks are the #1 selling import 12 years running. Right now, you can get factory-to-dealer incentives on Toyota trucks and special option package savings for huge savings that could really add up. Hurry to your Toyota dealer for the big year-end clearance. This is the one you've been watching out for.
Let's go, boys. Game time. The dynamic duo of Andy Kelly and Carl Pickens leads Tennessee against All-American Ray Buchanan and the Louisville Cardinals.
It's a jungle out there.
Live on ESPN.
Davey Allison is catching up with the field as the field realigns for a restart. Now they came in again, made an adjustment in the car, and sent Davey back on his way again. Watch the crew react now.
It's different than having an air cleaner in your hand and living on the carburetor with that.
Jerry Punch is there in the Allison pit.
They had a broken throttle spring. That's why the throttle was hanging up and would not come back. In fact, Davey said he hit Michael Waltrip purely by accident. He was coming up upon Michael. Michael was trying to get out of the way, but the throttle wouldn't come back. And when he tried to pull it back with his foot, it was too late. So he had already tagged Michael Waltrip. We're going back to green flag, guys.
The crowd sends them on their way once again as the green comes out on lap 1. We've got 66 laps to go in the Southern 500.
And 6 cars in the lead lap, and Davey Allison is in 6th place.
And back at the point is Harry Gant with Mark Martin running second, then Dale Earnhardt, Ken Schrader, Ernie Irvin, and Allison.
I'm not sure Davey Allison has enough time to catch Harry Gant. If there was not any traffic between he and Gant, he might could. But I don't know if he can catch these cars. There he goes, that's Kyle Petty going by. Where is Davey? There he is, back behind on the inside of Sterling Marlin.
He's got a lot of racetrack to make up, doesn't he?
A lot of racetrack to make up to catch Harry Gant, as well as Gant's running.
Nearly touching Jeff Bodine as they came off the second corner, but Allison passes him. Meanwhile, there's a very good fight for second position.
And Martin just pulled something wrong with Mark Martin. He's off the pace.
Dale Earnhardt goes to second easily as Mark Martin drops down off the banking. Well, that car has run so well, and he apparently has radioed the crew saying it is over. See a little bit of smoke out the back end, but in any case, Mark Martin has had such a great run here at the 500 and a great run in total since Charlotte, as a matter of fact, moving up to third in the point standings. Now suffers a misfortune here late in the Southern 500.
That's the slowest ride in auto racing. One lap around the racetrack with no power.
Now here's second and third. Dale Earnhardt and Ernie Irvan, and that is the interval they have between themselves and the leader, Harry Gant.
Fellas, the last time around, Gant gained 0.6 of a second on Davey Allison. Of course, Davey back there in traffic, and Gant out there just running free by himself. He's almost 5 seconds behind Harry Gant.
Davies now has been able to get by that traffic. Jerry punches down with the crew. Jerry.
Well, Davey has just radioed in the problem has returned. Apparently, they think now that the throttle linkage is hitting on the air cleaner, and so when it's going down the straightaway, the throttle is hanging and not feeling right. So they're discussing it now. You see Larry McReynolds, Robert Yates, who is the car owner and crew chief, along with Ryan Pemberton. They're discussing what they can do to help rectify the problem. Obviously, they need a caution flag to be able to make a pit stop, because a green flag stop will take them out of any chance of winning here at Darlington.
The best battle on the racetrack at the moment is for second spot, Earnhardt and Ernie Irvan.
5 cars now on the lead lap. They are Harry Gant, of course. Dale Earnhardt in second, Ernie Irvan third, Ken Craver fourth, and in fifth place is Davey Allison. Kyle Petty now up to sixth, 1 lap down. And second place about to change.
Yep, there goes Ernie. Came into the race fifth in the Winston Cup point standings, 191 behind Earnhardt.
Earnhardt's car looks like it's running a little bit better than it has been earlier, so it looks like Richard Kirk and the crew has made some adjustments in this last pit stop.
Once again, the interval between second and third and the leader, Harry Gant from Taylorsville, North Carolina, the 84 winner of the Southern 500, is going for his second.
Top-of-the-line parts, expert advice. That's your Big A Auto Parts store.
Big A, the sign that keeps your car running right.
Limited edition GMC Cyclone. Technology that speaks for itself. In fact, your GMC truck dealer would like to show you only one more Cyclone feature.
The driver of this car adds something special to his motor oil. So does the driver of this car. They both use STP oil treatment for drivers on a racetrack or drivers on a fast track. STP.
Around the world, around the year, with over 1 million miles of award-winning auto racing coverage, ESPN Speed World visits the first super speedway that NASCAR competed on, Darlington International Raceway, and the Heinz Southern 500. As a matter of fact, the first paved oval that NASCAR competed on was right here at Darlington. And there's Harry Gant.
You know, Ned, it's 500 miles in 1950. Must have taken about all day.
Well, it was well over 6 hours.
Wow. to second and third. Ernie Irvin, the 4 car, the orange 4, yellow, whichever color you want to call that. We know that the color behind is black. That's Dale Earnhardt, the black 3.
You know, one of the interesting things about that first Southern 500 was that Johnny Mance won it. He qualified at 73.4 and won at an average of 75.5.
He figured his place out. He went along.
He went along. That's right. There's Ken Schrader. He's on the lead lap in 4th position. He certainly has had a good afternoon. And how about this? Kyle Petty. Boy, you got to really give him a call, because with that broken leg that has put him out of contention for so long, he has come back with a vengeance here, and he's done it with some mechanical problems.
Yes, the car was just ill to begin with, and they've adjusted on the car, and right now Kyle is about as fast as anyone.
Running in 6th place.
On back is Jeff Bodine in number 11. He is 2 laps down the leader, being shown in 10th position.
And next is the car number 10 of Derek Coates, having a good run here today. He is in 7th position. 1 lap down the leader.
There's Sterling Marlin and Terry Labonte. That's a racing position of Max Klaus Ford, the Sunoco Oldsmobile, and that's a race for the 8th spot. Derek Coates, we saw just a moment ago, in front of these folks.
You know, Terry Labonte won the Southern 500 back in 1980, and he only led 2 laps in registering that win.
I remember I was in a big crash down in turn 1 as he went motoring by. Bill Elliott, he is 20th now.
Down 5 laps, Bill Elliott. Ricky Rudd has fallen back, and so has the 28 car of Davey Allison. There is Joe Ruttman ahead of Allison now, car number 75. Joe is in 11th position, 2 laps down.
Davey having all kinds of problems driving that car with the throttle hanging. Has to back off early, has to use his foot to pop the throttle back. I know why he's backed up.
Yeah, his concern now is trying to keep it out of the wall.
Bobby Hamilton, who's tied for the rookie lead with Ted Musgrave. Country Time Oldsmobile, he eases by. He's not running 12th.
Talk about a good points race. Look at this. For rookie point standings, Hamilton and Musgrave are tied with 183 points apiece. Wally Dallenbach in 3rd with 86.
That was going in today. Right now, the 68 car is running 12th, and the 55 car Musgrave is in the 21st. Morgan Shepherd, who we saw spin earlier, our Igloo in-car camera, following Davey Allison.
He's in 19th place, 4 laps behind the leader.
So DW, Darrell Waltrip, the Western Auto Chevrolet. He is in 25th spot. He is 14. Is that 16 laps down? 15 laps down. Hut Strickland, the Revested Buick. He's in the 14th spot. There's Brett Bodine, the 26 car. He's 15th.
Right behind him will be the 47 car, Greg Sachs. And he is 22nd, 8 laps down. And behind Greg Sachs, who's in 22nd spot,
Rick Mass, who is currently in 13th place. Rick led for a while. He is 2 laps down to the leader. Stoll Classic Oldsmobile.
There's Richard Petty, the king. He's 16th. And 5 car is running 17th. So these cars are running for position. And the 24 car is back about 22nd spot. He's a lap behind these fellas. 23rd, Dick Trickle is running. There's the 21 car, the Citgo Ford, Dale Jarrett. He had to stop and change batteries or something in his car, so he is about 16 laps behind in the Citgo Ford.
In 27th position.
We see the tachometer working in his car now. So,
and the in-car camera is still working too on the Citgo Ford. As Dale Jarrett runs in 27th spot.
24 car, Dick Trickle.
trying to get by Ricky Rudd. Coming off turn 2 down the back straightaway. He's got position.
How about this? Battle for second spot between Earnhardt and Irvin, and Dale Earnhardt goes to second.
Takes that spot away, so Richard Childress and the crew has made some adjustments. Earnhardt's car much better than it has been.
But still, it is Harry Gant who has a rather comfortable lead on Earnhardt, Irvin, and the rest of the field here after 321 laps.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sport Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN. There he goes. He leaps. He makes the catch. See Tuesday night doubleheaders, Wednesday night excitement, Friday night twin bills, and exclusive Sunday night action.
Bo's back, and there's no stopping him now. Don't miss the return of Bo Jackson as the White Sox host the Royals live Monday night at 8 Eastern, part of an ESPN Labor Day triple header.
43 laps to go in the Southern 500. Harry Gant is leading, but his interval is not nearly as large as it was a while ago because Dale Earnhardt appears to be catching him, Ned.
Yeah, he was about 3.5 seconds ahead of Ernie Irvin and Dale Earnhardt, and then Earnhardt passed Irvin, has closed it down to about 2 7/10 seconds. Now, the last couple of laps have sort of stabilized a little bit. Gant might have got the word that, hey, Earnhardt's beginning to gain a little bit, so we'll see as we put the ESPN clock on in here now as they come off the turn 4.
2.8 seconds, so that's about what you had a little bit ago. Keep an eye on it, and in a little bit we'll be able to check and see if in fact Earnhardt is gaining forward.
And fellas talking about gaining, Davey Allison is going into turn 4 as turn 3. Allison is about to be lapped. He is really having his problems now. He was leading this race not too long ago, but in about 2 or 3 laps, he's going to get lapped by Harry Gant. There they are.
Yep. Once again, remember 2.8, 2.9, so Harry Gant's about the same.
Yeah, he got the word. Earnhardt's gaining, you better go. And he sees Davey Allison up there, certainly would like to put him a lap down. Davey is really off the pace. He pulls down. Hates to see that Oldsmobile go by and put him a lap down, but nothing you can do about it. In fact, Davey, I thought he might be coming into the pits, and he might be.
He still might be. He is coming in the pits. Yep. Davey Allison is coming in.
Well, it's too bad because Davey had such a strong performance. Now he brings the car down pit road for an unscheduled stop. Jerry Punch is right there.
Well, Davey just radioed in and said the car is vibrating so badly he can't even see out of the windshield. The car was bouncing him up and down in the seat. The crew now have raised the hood. They're going to take the breather off. The speculation is that possibly they may have a broken motor mount. That would explain the reason for the throttle linkage. They are apparently going to use a belt to try to tie part of the block assembly to the right side roll bars around the motor. Try to keep it from dropping down and vibrating so badly. They have the car jacked up. They will change tires while they're here. But guys in the booth, that would explain the problem with the throttle linkage if they indeed have broken a motor mount.
It certainly would, Jared. We could see them with a pry bar there that they was trying to pry it back up a little bit, but if that engine is moving around in there, and it would let the accelerator rub against things and cause major problems, as we've seen.
It is one tough racetrack here at Darlington, and driver after driver will tell you that to win here, as Benny did in the early stages, you have to survive. Describe Darlington in 5 words or less.
Mean. It's a mean racetrack. Tough, thinking, strategy racetrack. Mean, unforgiving, treacherous, fun and exhilarating. Slippery, treacherous, tough. A real test of man. The toughest track on the circuit. A very unique, challenging track. The greatest. She's a tough old girl.
That pretty much says it, doesn't it?
Pretty much says it, yeah. No one said it's a piece of cake. I tell you that.
Kyle Petty said it was fun, but that was about as close to a compliment as you got. Into the 6-0 Ford once again with Dale Jarrett, as he is right behind the leader of the race.
Dale is just out there riding now.
There we see the Big A interval between Gant and Earnhardt. It started at 2.4. It closed at 1.9 after 5 laps, so Earnhardt did pick up a half second. And we can see where Earnhardt very, very consistent. 32.8 to 33 flat. And Gant from 32.9 to 33.1, so.
But we'll check it again as he comes around this time. But Harry Gant has changed his line down in turns 1 and 2, fellas, and I think that might have picked him up a little bit about the time that we started checking on him to see how he was doing against Earnhardt.
Well, he's picked up a half a second since we clocked him last.
Yep. By the way, you remember we've been... Well, let's go to Jerry Punch with an update on Davey Allison, and then I'll tell you about Dale Earnhardt. Jerry?
Gentlemen, the crew members who were speculating a minute ago they had a motor mount possibly broken. That was not the case. Apparently, the vibration was from a loose left rear tire. Davey probably would not have completed another lap without tagging the wall. The left rear tire has been replaced, and the car is running very smoothly now. He still has a throttle ticking intermittently, but he certainly does not have the vibration he had some 15 laps ago.
But the damage is done. Davey Allison finds himself now 5 laps behind the leader, back in 18th position. Dale Earnhardt has not had a real good run here in the last 2-3 races. In fact, he has lost some Winston Cup points, shaving the advantage to over 60 over Ricky Rudd. But now Earnhardt is gaining back all of the points that he has lost, because the drivers, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the points, all have had their problems today. So Earnhardt may not necessarily win the race, but he is going to gain back some points, and I'm sure he has his sights set on the $1 million that the Winston Cup champion will take home in the NASCAR banquet the first weekend of December in New York City. Earnhardt still remains second to Harry Gant, the leader of the Southern 500, with 334 laps completed. We'll take another break and be back with more in a moment.
John, how you doing? You know, AutoZone customers are pretty special. I mean, they take great pains in doing a job just right. So they know exactly what they want. That's why we carry so many parts. And also why we price them so low every day of the week. Because you gotta admire a guy who'll tackle a job like putting in a starter, a water pump, a rack and pinion. And you gotta give a guy like that exactly what he wants. The right parts and the right price.
Limited edition GMC Cyclone. Technology that speaks for itself. In fact, your GMC truck dealer would like to show you only one more Cyclone feature.
Here are the top 15 now with 337 of 367 laps completed. It's Gant, Earnhardt, Urban, Schrader, and Kyle Petty. Derek Cope is 6th, then Sterling Marlin, Terry Labonte, Jeff Bodine, and Joe Ruttman. 11 through 15, Bobby Hamilton, Rick Mast, Hut Strickland, Brett Bodine, and Rick Wilson. And speaking of Rick Wilson, watch this.
He's going in the corner high, letting Harry Gant go on the inside. Or maybe he doesn't realize Harry's there. Harry goes up the racetrack, almost gets in the side of Rick. Rick almost got in the side of the wall.
Yeah, I think Rick was holding his line up there, and Harry just got loose going into the turn and slid up into him.
And there's what our Western Auto mechanic of the race is this man, Andy Petrie, on the Harry Gant crew. Congratulations to Andy, the Western Auto mechanic of the race.
So Bob, you know, Dale Jarrett has his Busch Grand National car is owned by DHA Racing Incorporated. That happens to be Dale's initials, but that has nothing to do with the name of that corporation. Dale Jarrett, Andy Petrie, and Jimmy Newsom started that company as their first initial of their first name. And, of course, Dale and Andy still in the racing business. And that name still goes on in the Busch Grand National.
Andy Petrie is my crew chief over with Precision Products Racing for 3 or 4 years.
Good man.
That's very good.
Do another interval here, see how much of a lead Harry Gant has on Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt's got a little bit of traffic.
It's 2.4 the last time. Now it's 2.7. So Harry Gant has gained just a little bit on Dale Earnhardt.
Both of them in traffic. Gant now coming up on Hut Strickland.
Boy, he lost that corner off the line, it looked like.
He got high up in 1 and 2 in the middle of the corner.
Igloo in-car camera with Morgan Shepherd. That's Earnhardt.
Now we hear Morgan get off the gas, just completely off the gas now to try to get the car through that corner. Watch Earnhardt go in the corner. He stays in the middle of the racetrack. Ned, you talk about Harry changing line. He started running a lot higher down in 1 and 2,
yeah,
didn't he?
He did. He started going up about a car width higher than he had been running. He'd been keeping the car low on the racetrack. And we saw him that one time go in under Rick Wilson and slid up there. So the car seems to be just working better in the higher grade. But it's really been all afternoon been getting through turns 3 and 4.
Watch for your favorite driver now to pass by. The clock in the upper right will tell you how far your driver is behind the leader as far as positioning on the racetrack, not necessarily laps, but here comes Kyle Petty. Off the 4th corner is Cope, then Baker, Jeff Bodine,
Terry Labonte, Sterling Marley,
Bill Elliott, Joe Rutten, Bobby Hamilton, Walter Brothers,
Greg Sachs, and Dan. A lap at 33.3, and that's a speed of 147.676.
A lot of threes on those numbers, a lot of threes on that car.
You mentioned that Harry Gant won the Southern 500 in 1984. He's also won the Trans-South 500, the spring race here at Darlington, on 2 different occasions, in 1983 and in 1989.
When did these cars pit last time? Can they go on this one?
I'll tell you, I think it's going to be close, Denny. They pitted on lap, Harry Gant pitted on lap 297, which left, what, 70 laps, and he hasn't gone that far so far today. Now, Dale Jarrett had gone, I think, early in the race when they made a green flag pit stop. He had gone about 68, 69 laps. That's the longest that we have had anybody going, but maybe Harry hadn't had to go that far. So we'll just see. Let's go to the pits, and John Kernan with Andy Petrie.
Well, you just mentioned the Western Auto mechanic of the race, Andy Petrie. And Andy, I know you can probably go the rest of the way on fuel. What about the line? Gary has changed his line. For a minute there, it looked like Dale might be catching him.
No. Yeah, we can run all the way on fuel. Car's handling pretty good. I think he's kind of taking it easy, but he's running hard too. You know, we just want to save enough to have some at the end.
Well, what about the second place car? Let's go up to Jerry Punch, who's with Richard Childress.
Richard, you're running out of laps and time. First of all, can you catch Harry? Do you have enough time?
Well, we got enough time, but Harry's running awful good right now, and he's been running good all day. Dale just came on the radio and said he didn't think he had anything for him, so we'll just have to see.
How about the fuel situation? You're going to have to run 70 laps to make it to the checkered flag. Can you make it?
Yeah, we can make it easy on fuel. You know, we tore up a couple of tires, you know, under heat, so we're just trying to save this one to finish up.
Do Fuel, no problem here for the Earnhardt pits, but the big problem is that number 33 car, Harry Gant.
Yes, indeed. The 33 car continues to set the pace and maintain that advantage of between 2.5 and 3 seconds. And the laps are clicking off. 347 are now down. So there are only 20 more circuits to go in the Heinz Southern 500. 42nd annual edition. Back in a moment.
Stealing cable TV is against the law. It's a crime to rig your cable box, use bootleg equipment, or hook into cable lines without paying. If you get caught, penalties can run as high as $6,000, and in some states you can spend up to a year in jail. Why risk it? Cable theft is a crime. Are you receiving services that you're not paying for? Bring your converter box to Store Cable or call us at 871-69.
Got a contest to see how tough you really are. Enter to win the NFL on TNT Tough Stuff Sweepstakes. You and a friend could spend 2 days at an NFL training camp, then 5 days relaxing in the Caribbean. Bask in the glory of the NFL, then bask in the glow of the Caribbean. Watch TNT for details and catch the NFL on TNT Sunday nights this fall.
Fill out your entries at the Greens at Delran, Route 130 North and Fairview Avenue, Delran, South Jersey's Family Fun Center.
642-7400.
Dale Earnhardt has given up his second position to make an unscheduled pit stop. He came in for 4 new tires, and Dale Earnhardt dropping off the pace and now gives up his chance of making it 3 Southern 500 wins in a row.
He came off of turn 2, Bob, and the car really bobbled with him, and he slowed. So if the tire was going down or whatever might have happened, you see Rick Mast going by, and then he came into the pit. Jerry Punch was there when he made the pit stop. Jerry, how happened?
Well, we are here now. We have Richard Phillips with us. This made the Richard unscheduled stop. What happened?
Something happened in the rear end. We think it might have broke a ratchet or a spring or an axle or something. He just says it's spinning.
So tough break for Dale Earnhardt. He brought the car very slowly down pit road, and indeed, if it was an axle, the car would only pull with one wheel, and he left pits very, very slowly. Couldn't hardly get the car to move as they dropped it off the jack.
So Earnhardt drops down to 8th position, and we talked earlier about the fact that he was gaining all those Winston Cup points. That's how it goes.
On 2, 3, and 4, and 5, all of them had trouble today. Earnhardt was sitting down there with no trouble, and all of a sudden, he lost about 35, 40 points in one lap by going from 2nd back to 8th.
Gant hoping that his car will last the next few laps and he can win this race.
And pick up a $100,000 bonus. Let's don't forget, Harry Gant hasn't forgot, believe me. He knows all about how much money he's going to make today.
All right, now how about Ricky Rudd? He is currently 17th. So Earnhardt is 8th and Rudd is 17th. And if they finish that way, then indeed Dale is going to stretch out the point advantage on Ricky Rudd. And he will also he'll lose a few points to Ernie Irvan, who currently is in 2nd position.
Yeah, he's going to be the big gainer in this situation if he hangs on to 2nd.
The quest for the Cup point standings. There's how close it is between Earnhardt and Rudd, but Ernie Irvan in 5th position in the point standings can make gain some points.
Well, he'll go right by Davey Allison, Mark Martin, and gain substantially on Earnhardt and Rudd if things just stay the same.
We're going to have a point battle right down to the end. It looks like it could be between more than 2 drivers.
Beat all day. Now look what Ernie Irvan has done since Charlotte.
These are the points accumulated since the Charlotte Coca-Cola World 600 in May. Mark Martin has accumulated the most points since that time. Ernie Irvan 2nd, and there you can see that Dale Earnhardt, the Winston Cup points leader, is 4th on the list.
If we add today's race in there, Ernie Irvan and Mark Martin would be about the same.
Yep.
Ooh, Morgan Shepherd almost hit the ball down low. Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. But I'll have to see him. He's almost driving the wall, and Harry Gant just goes by the car. Looks like it's on the race.
12 more laps to go in the Southern 500 on a hot and humid afternoon in South Carolina. We'll be right back.
You, yes, you might win a new Pontiac Grand Prix in the special days of Summer Sweepstakes. Plus, 4 special days in sweet tickets for the Winston Cup race in Charlotte, October 6th. Plus, airfare and special days in will throw in accommodations. How about 10 cruises for 2? Want to know how to win one? Register where you see this sign. Want to enter your name in the special days of Summer Sweepstakes? Call 1-800-CMC-DAYS. By the way, what is your name? Don't just sit there. Enter now.
It's great. They fixed up that old truck and went out for their big driving lesson. You know, they'll never forget this day as long as they live.
Here's to fathers and sons, first-time driving lessons and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
It's impossible to watch all the NFL action on Sundays, right? Wrong. See every key play in just 60 minutes of fast-paced excitement. ESPN NFL Primetime is all the football you need this Sunday at 7 Eastern.
Harry Gant leads the Southern 500 with 9 more laps to go. That completes lap number 358. Harry Gant was born January 10th of 1940. He was 10 years and a few months old when they ran the first Southern 500 here at Darlington. If he should go on to win this event today, he will win at age 51 and 7 months, and he will extend his mark as the oldest winner in the history of Winston Cup.
He became the oldest winner last year at Pocono, didn't he?
He's not getting older. He's getting better.
Won the Winston 500 this year at Talladega, the race we had on Monday. Yep. And today, if he could have won the World 600 or the Daytona 500, could have picked up $1 million.
Kyle Petty had just an absolutely great run going here today. He had moved all the way up to 4th position, and a few laps ago, the thing just quit on him. He is coasting around now, taking it behind the wall. Kyle Petty in the mellow yellow Pontiac was running 4th when things went wrong.
That was a tough race. Just 10 laps to go when Kyle had trouble. And all he had to do was run 10 more miles, 10 more laps, 14 more miles. What a story that would have been.
So that moves Derek Cope up to 4th, and moving into 5th position would be Terry Labonte.
Well, that'll be a shot in the arm for Terry Labonte and Derek Cope. Both of them have really had a tough year so far. Cope in the Purelator Chevrolet, Labonte in the Sunoco Oldsmobile. And so it's good to see them have a good run and get a top 5 finish if they indeed do go on and finish in the top 5.
Harry Gant is looking for his 13th career victory. As you mentioned, Benny, his most recent win was at Talladega back in May. We televised live for you here on ESPN. 5 laps to go.
5 more.
And they said no problem with fuel.
Second place is Ernie Irvin. There he is, crossing the line. There are now only 3 cars besides Gant and Ernie Irvin. The other car is Ken Schrader. We understand that rain isn't very far away from Darlington International Raceway. It is approaching the racetrack, but we've only got now 4 more laps to go.
Leo Jackson, the owner of Harry Gant's car.
Is that a smile I see on his face?
No, that's nervous. That's what that is.
Guaranteed. Just saying a little prayer there and so hoping that everything will continue to go okay. He knows Harry's going to drive the car very carefully these last few laps.
364 laps are completed. 3 to go.
Davey Allison back on the track. We saw just go by.
He's running fast now.
Yes, he is. After he got the left rear tire tightened back up.
David's climbed back up to 12th place now. Was down about 17th or 18th after he made that pit stop.
Next time around, Harry Gant will get the white flag, indicating one more lap to go.
Harry's going to win another Southern 500. He can just hang together.
Get that $100,000 bonus from Winston.
Yeah, it's going to be probably a $200,000 day for Harry. He's not going to win the Unical bonus money. Only Davey Allison eligible for that.
That fellow with the glasses we saw just sitting there is Charlie Presley, brother of Robert Presley, the Busch Grand National driver. He's the jackman on the Skoll Oldsmobile.
Doyle Ford has the white flag in hand. Now he waves it, and Harry Gant passes underneath the starter stand with 1.3 miles to go before he wins his second Southern 500. Harry Gant from Taylorsville, North Carolina, 51 years old. Looking for his 13th career win. This will give him 2 Southern 500 victories, and it will give him 4 total wins here at the track too tough to take. Harry Gant comes off the 4th corner. The crowd is on its feet. They're cheering for him. Harry Gant wins the Southern 500. Finishing just ahead of the guy who ran so well here in the early stages of the race, Davey Allison, but who ends up in 12th spot. And the Skoll Bandit crew celebrates, and so does the crowd here at Darlington. Let's go to John Kernan.
Well, a very happy Andy Petrie getting congratulated. Well, Andy, what do you... getting some words now from the car owner. Now, Andy, $100,000. Well, now he's talking to Harry on the radio. $100,000 win today, extra bonus.
Yeah, I tell you, that's really nice. You know, I really keep my fingers crossed. Still just now sinking in. You know, I really want to thank our motor department. You know, these guys have been working extra overtime. You know, along with our pit crew and all the guys, they've all done a good job all year. But I just want to say a special thanks to the guys in the motor room. I really appreciate it. Motor ran perfect, car ran perfect, and Harry was perfect.
Well, a perfect day for the Skoll Bandit Racing crew. Bob?
Thank you, John. Congratulations to Andy, Harry, and everybody else on the Skoll Bandit crew. Harry Gant has won the 1991 edition of the Southern 500. We'll talk to him after this.
It is from Kodak. It delivers the highest resolution, microfine grain, superior image structure, for ultra-sharp detail. It is called Ektar. Sound like the world's most impressive color print film? It is Ektar Film by Kodak. The genius is in the details.
When we set out to engineer the ultimate spark plug, we put in a lot of long hours. We utilized a lot of revolutionary thinking. And all the while, our competition thought we were just shooting for the moon. Unfortunately for them, we shot a bit higher than that. Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug. To locate a Bosch retailer or service outlet, call 1-800-882-8101.
I've got the car. I've got the team. And I've got the drive. I'm off to a great start.
McDonald's has everything under the sun to get your day off to a great start. Hot, fluffy biscuits, scrumptious Egg McMuffin sandwiches, and griddle fresh hotcakes.
You know, when you get off to a great start, there's just no telling how far you can go.
Let me catch my breath.
Very safe, very competitive. Heinz Southern 500 has come to an end for the 42nd time here at Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina, and the winner is Harry Gant. Our Speed World coverage has been brought to you by GMC Trucks. It's not just a truck anymore, it's quality on the road. By Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. And by Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil. Cherry Punch is in Victory Lane.
51-year-old Harry Gant has climbed out of the Skoll Oldsmobile, and Harry, congratulations. What is it with you in this racetrack? You do awfully well here at this track. They say too tough to tame.
Well, always got a good car here. Everything just works good for us. The pit crew done a super job today, and getting the Oldsmobile, the Skoll Bandit O's prepared here, for the race today. We made some changes this morning and thought about it and talked about it this morning, and everything was just perfect.
Now, the car went away just in that last stop. You had a little bit of push?
Yeah, we had a little push when Davey was. We had a bad pit stop there, and Davey got in front in the 6th car, but I didn't ever give up. I know he was going to have to run. I was pushing bad, but I managed to catch him, but he had some trouble with his car. But then after that, we got right back in sync again, and it was gone.
For 51 years of age, you look fresh as a daisy.
Well, I feel good. I figured that's the only way I'm going to beat them today, to wear them out. They may be younger, but I can wear them out.
Well, he'll use up some energy spending his money. Look behind him here, guys. He picks up $100,000 from the Winston Million, part of that bonus for winning at Talladega and winning at Darlington. And here comes his wife, Peggy, and
grandson, John Derrick.
Grandson here at Victory Lane. So all the Gants are celebrating here at Darlington. Bob?
Grandpa Gant wins the Southern 500, and a major congratulations from all of us here at ESPN. We're going to take a look at the unofficial results of this race here this afternoon and bring to an end a great tradition that has lasted for 42 runnings of this event, Benny.
It's been fantastic. And Harry Gant, my hat's off to you. I just can't believe that you can still do it. He's older than I am, and he's still doing it like a young guy.
Larry Pearson finishing in 30th position as we show you the rest of the rundown. And Ned, we got a few weeks off here before we get back to work.
Well, our next race, of course, will be at Martinsville, Virginia, the Goodies 500 in September.
Now let's take a look at the points. There you can see Dale Earnhardt with an 89-point advantage.